Chapter 189. Seeing that Lin Jiej was finally willing to talk to her, Lin Jai replied happily, "That's right. I'm going to Xi'an and Chongqing to play. I've already booked my itinerary. Do you and Yao Yao want to come along?" Lin Jiej ignored Lin Jai's words and continued calmly, "There's something I forgot to tell you." "Lin Jai, what is it?" "Just now, Mom and Dad said in the WeChat group that there's a small problem with a collaboration, so they have to return to Beijing. I accidentally let it slip that you're back from the United States, and they said that it's great that you can go with them. They don't need to make a special trip." While Lin Jai's face was slowly crumbling, Lin Jiej intentionally paused for a moment before continuing on. "Oh, the payment for this collaboration has already been paid, so you won't be getting any money out of it. I'm guessing that Mom and Dad should be giving you a call by now." Right after Lin Jiej said those words, Lin Jai's phone suddenly rang. On the screen of the caller ID, the words "Mother" appeared. Lin Jai picked up the call and replied, "Yes, Mom. I'm back. Isn't it Yao Yao's birthday today?" Sure, no problem. I'll head over to the company tomorrow." While Lin Jai was speaking, Lin Jiej was leisurely making his way down the stairs. Even if she had been eating rice for 3 years longer than him, she was still lacking in the end. Vacation? Dream on. You love money? I'll let you work for free without getting paid. In any case, the present he bought for Softbun was already back in her hands, so he had nothing to fear. Just as Lin Jiej reached the last step, Lin Jai's furious roar sounded from behind Lin Jia. Without waiting for her to finish her words, Lin Jiej turned to look at Lin Jai and said with a look of pity, "Have you already booked the flight tickets and hotel to Xi'an and Chongqing? If you return them, you'll have to deduct the processing fee. What a waste." "Lin Jiej, I'm your elder sister." Lin Jiej calmly turned around and walked toward the dining room. "Lin Jiej, stop right there. How dare you set me up? I'm so angry." Before Lin Jai could finish her words, Lin Jiej had already pushed open the door to the dining room. Shi Yao, who was in the midst of eating, suddenly turned her head toward the door with a bulging mouth. Noticing Shi Yao's gaze, Lin Jai smiled faintly and took several deep breaths. She couldn't afford to expose herself in front of Shi Yao. After all, she tricked her earlier too. How infuriating. Lin Jiej was clearly the one who had tricked Shi Yao in the first place. But now she couldn't reveal everything just to retaliate against him. No wonder he was so calm and dared to provoke her. Her sinister brother had a card up his sleeve. They clearly had the same father and mother. How could her younger brother be so sinister, cunning, black-bellied, and hateful? He wasn't at all like her, who was beautiful, sweet, and adorable. Lin Jiej paid no heed to Lin Jai's frenzied state. He pulled out a chair and sat across from Shi Yao. Shi Yao shot a glance at Zuan, and she couldn't be bothered to wonder what was wrong with Lin Jai anymore. With a reddened face, she lowered her head and continued making friends with the glutinous rice balls in her bowl. The servants brought out the supper that Lin Jiej had ordered one by one and placed them in front of him. Before he left, the servant gave him a strange look. Chapter 190. The supper was placed on the table for a long time, but Lin Jiej didn't eat at all. Instead, he continued stirring the glutinous dumplings with a spoon to cool them down. The maid standing by the side looked at Lin Jiej with even more bewilderment. Why did the young master order so much food instead of eating? Is he here to waste food? Just as the maid made up her mind, Lin Jiej lowered his head to take a look at the glutinous dumplings. Seeing that the temperature was suitable, he scooped up a glutinous dumpling and placed it into Shi Yao's empty bowl. Shi Yao raised her head and followed Lin Jiej's retracting spoon to look at his elegant face. Noticing the doubt in her eyes, Lin Jiej replied softly, "I can't finish it, so I'll share some with you." "Thank you." Shi Yao thanked him happily before lowering her head to stuff the glutinous dumpling that Lin Jiej had just given her into her mouth. Lin Jiej scooped another glutinous dumpling for Shi Yao, and after she was done, he continued feeding her. It didn't take long for the glutinous dumplings to be emptied. Then he switched to steamed eggs with milk, followed by puffs, mango pudding, tofu pancakes, and cherries. By the time Shi Yao was done with the 2 portions of supper, the maid standing by the side finally realized what was going on. The young master wasn't here for supper but to feed Miss Shi Yao. No, that's not right. Was the young master feeding Miss Shi Yao, or feeding them dog food? Seeing that the dishes on the table were all empty, Lin Jiej asked, "Are you full?" Shi Yao nodded. She turned to look at Lin Jiej, but a second later, she recalled what had happened upstairs. She lowered her head and replied with an embarrassed In contrast to her embarrassment, Lin Jiej's reaction was much calmer. It's getting late. I'll send you home. Shi Yao nodded once more and replied with a soft She waited for Lin Jiej to get up before following him to the courtyard. As they passed by the living room, Shi Yao didn't forget to bid farewell to Lin Jiej. Lin Jiej was still driving his grandfather's car. This time he didn't let Shi Yao open the car door herself. Instead, he stopped by the front passenger seat and opened the door for her. After such a scene in Lin Jiej's bedroom, it was inevitable that the two of them would feel a little awkward. Thus, even after the car had driven quite a distance away, neither of them spoke a word. But just as they were about to leave the city, a thought suddenly came to her mind, and she exclaimed *T. Startled by her, Lin Jiej abruptly stepped on the brakes and asked, "What's wrong?" We haven't paid for the crayfish we ate at Taste of Home, so it's about this matter. Is there a need to make such a fuss? Lin Jiej stepped on the gas pedal and calmly replied, "Let's just treat it as a free meal then. Isn't that great?" "That's not good. I really like their crayfish, and I'm planning to go there again in the future. If I were to dine and dash, how am I supposed to eat in the future?" Shi Yao said confidently. So Soft Bun's point isn't that it's immoral to dine and dash, but that she can't eat it anymore in the future? Lin Jiej fell silent. "When I return to school tomorrow, I'll drop by their shop and make up for the money." Shi Yao was already trying to think of a way to salvage the situation. Knowing that Shi Yao was serious, Lin Jiej could only tell the truth. "I've already paid for the bill." "Oh." Shi Yao heaved a sigh of relief. Then she quickly asked, "How much is it?" "I'll pay you." "There's no need for that." "How can I do that? We agreed that I'll treat you to a meal. If you don't want it, I'll treat you another time." This time Lin Jiej didn't turn her down. When they arrived at Shi Yao's house, just as she was about to get out of the car, Lin Jiej suddenly called out to her, "Take a look at the things in the trunk. Are you interested?" Chapter 191. When they arrived at Shi Yao's doorstep, just as she was about to say thank you and goodbye, Lin Jiej suddenly spoke up, "Take a look at the things in the trunk. Are you interested?" This wasn't the first time she'd been stopped by him. Shi Yao silently swallowed the words that were at the tip of her tongue before replying with an "oh" and getting out of the car. Walking to the back of the car, Shi Yao pressed on the switch, and the door to the trunk slowly rose up. What entered her sight was a car filled with pink and translucent bags, and there were colorful ribbons tied around the bags. However, what caught Shi Yao's attention the most wasn't the girlish transparent bags and ribbons, but the contents within them. Passion fruit, loquat, watermelon, pineapple, pomegranate, and potato chips. They were all her favorites. Wow, what a blissful trunk. I really want to become a trunk. What should I do? While Shi Yao was staring unblinkingly at the trunk with drooling eyes, Lin Jiej got out of the car and walked over to her side. "Why? Are you interested?" Yes, it's simply to." Shi Yao didn't think too much about it, and went along with Lin Jiej's words. However, halfway through her words she suddenly paused. Her eyes were still glued to the transparent bags, but her words were directed at Lin Jiej. "These are," she was about to ask if these were for her. But as she spoke, she suddenly remembered that he was asking if she was interested. Didn't he say that he liked them? So she paused once more. Lin Jiej thought that Shi Yao was asking where these things came from, so he fell silent for a moment. Instead of telling her that he had the chauffeur prepare them according to her preferences, he replied calmly, "Oh, these are confessional gifts from a girl." Shi Yao's eyes widened in shock. Noticing the change in her expression, Lin Jiej realized that there was something wrong with his random excuse. While he was cursing himself for having a screw loose in his head, he wanted to explain that these things were forced upon him by the girl, and he didn't want them at all. But before Lin Jiej could say a single word, Shi Yao's face suddenly glowed as she exclaimed in admiration, "Wow, this confessional gift is amazing. This girl is incredible." The words that Lin Jiej was about to say got stuck in his throat, and he found himself unable to speak anymore. In the end, she didn't react like that because of the girl's confession, but because of the food. He was the one who had spent money to prepare this, but now she was praising a girl who didn't even exist. Did this count as shooting himself in the foot? Forget it, that girl was just a figment of his imagination. He would just pretend that she was praising him for now. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiej said, if you're interested, you can bring these items back with you. As much as Shi Yao wanted to take it, she hesitated for a second before shaking her head. She forced herself to shift her gaze away from the trunk and said, that won't do. Someone else gave you these things, so how can I accept them? With a calm expression on his face, Lin Jiej replied calmly, I just think that you taste better, so I'm just asking you out of curiosity. If you don't want it, I'll just throw it away when I pass by the trash can later. So, was he treating her like a garbage collection station? But, if the garbage was all like this, she was willing to be a garbage recycling station for the rest of her life. Chapter 192. By the time Lin Jiej returned to the city, it was already 1 in the morning. Instead of returning home, he headed to the academy. After parking his car in the academy's parking lot, Lin Jiej headed to his dormitory while sending a message to his driver, telling him to pick up his car at the academy tomorrow. Just as he was about to reach his dormitory, Lin Jiej couldn't help but take out his phone and send a message to Shi Yao as well. I didn't want that confession gift. That girl put it down and ran away. A moment later, Lin Jiej sent another message to Shi Yao. I didn't get a good look at what that girl looked like. After sending the message, Lin Jiej finally put away his phone in satisfaction. He pushed open the door to the dormitory room, but barely after taking 2 steps, he was shocked by Xia Shangzhou's face. Standing a distance away, Lin Jiej was stunned for 2 seconds before he raised his chin at Xia Shangzhou and asked, What's wrong with your face? Xia Shangzhou wanted to cry but had no tears. He raised his hand and touched the clear red and swollen handprint on his face. Then he said pitifully, Your sister hit me. Lin Jiej replied with an "oh" in realization. Then, as he walked into the dormitory room, he said, She might be a little violent, but she wouldn't hit you for no reason. You must have done something that deserved a beating. What do you mean by, did something that deserved a beating? Xia Shangzhou abruptly stood up and began to explain everything that had happened. Boss, I'm telling you, I don't know anything. I was locked in the bathroom by your sister. It was fortunate that I had my phone with me, so I spent an hour and a half playing games on the toilet. An hour and a half later, the door finally opened, and I thought that I was saved, but your sister. At this point, Xia Shangzhou suddenly paused. Lu Benlai, who was lying on his bed listening to the drama, suddenly poked his head out and asked, What happened to boss's sister? What's wrong? What's wrong? Are you a recorder? Xia Shangzhou retorted. After which, he stuttered. Boss's sister came in to take a bath, and she wasn't wearing any clothes. Then she scolded me for being a pervert and a peeping Tom. Without any hesitation, she grabbed me and gave me a good beating. She even said that no man who hangs out with boss is a good person. After that, she threw me out of boss's house. Ha! Lu Benlai burst into merciless laughter before turning to Xia Shangzhou and asking, How's boss's elder sister's figure? As soon as he said those words, Lin Jiej's cold gaze immediately shot toward Lu Benlai. Lu Benlai immediately lay back down on the bed and said, I'm so sleepy. I'm going to sleep now. All right. Unaware of the danger, Xia Shangzhou continued, I didn't see anything. I only saw his fair skin. And then he was beaten to the ground. Lin Jiej grabbed his towel and pajamas before patting Xia Shangzhou's shoulder and saying, It's a good thing that you didn't see anything. If you did, you'd be lying on the floor once more. After which, he walked into the bathroom. After taking a quick shower, Lin Jiej lay down on his bed and saw the message Shi Yao had sent him. Since Big Sis is so good at giving gifts, she must be a very likable person. He was afraid that she would misunderstand, so he explained to her, but she was still praising that illusory girl. He even called her Little Missy. If he were to send another message to Soft Bun, he'd be a fool. A second after raising his flag, Lin Jiej's phone lit up once more. It was a message from Shi Yao. Right, did you reach home safely? Without any hesitation, Lin Jiej replied, I did. Chapter 193. Almost without any hesitation, Lin Jiej replied, I'm here. Lin Jiej paused for a moment before tapping on the keyboard once more. I didn't go home. I went back to school. After sending the messages, Lin Jiej looked at the two messages he had replied to on the screen before turning his gaze back to his hands that were holding onto his phone. A second ago, he was still swearing with his teeth clenched tightly together, but a second later, upon seeing her message, he immediately replied. Not only that, he replied within seconds, and two at that. The face slaps came too quickly like a tornado, but then again it's my hands that are being shamed, not him, so it doesn't matter anymore. While Lin Jiej was deep in thought, Shi Yao replied, It's good that you're safe. At the end of the message was a silly smiley emoji. Looking at the emoji, Lin Jiej couldn't help but imagine the look on her face when she saw the trunk of her car filled with her favorite food. She was always that simple. As long as there was food, she would be incomparably happy, as if she owned the entire world. Even though he didn't know too many women, Liang Juicy, that womanizer, had many female friends. Just like Soft Bun, they were all very young, but in the depths of their eyes, he could see many desires, such as the desire for money, the desire for luxuries, the desire to become a phoenix. Soft Bun wasn't a fool. He had already been surprised by her during the matter with Qin Iran. If she wanted something, it should be easy for her to obtain it, but she didn't use any scheming or scheming at all. There were very few people in the world who could live their lives as simple and pure as Soft Bun, right? In that instant, a phrase flashed across Lin Jiej's mind. Knowing the world but not the world, that's the most beautiful maturity. He thought that this was probably Soft Bun's greatest charm. It was a realm that many people couldn't reach in their lifetime. Due to his absent-mindedness, Lin Jiej didn't reply to Shi Yao's message. However, Shi Yao sent him a new message. If your back still hurts tomorrow, it's best for you to go to the hospital to have it checked. I don't want any sequelae. Is Soft Bun showing concern for me? A smile crept up Lin Jiej's face. He tapped on his phone and replied with an before adding, Got it. Shi Yao. Also, thank you for today. Shi Yao. I have many things to thank you for. There were many things that Lin Jiej could understand without having to go into too much detail. For example, the things he bought at W Shopping Mall, the bill for Taste of Home, the incident with Qin Iran, and the trunk of food. Lin Jiej's heart suddenly softened a little. Even his tapping on the keyboard had become much gentler. He replied, You're welcome. He replied, Good night. She quickly replied with an okay emoji. He didn't reply, and she didn't send him any more messages. He put down his phone, closed his eyes, and soon fell asleep. Then he dreamed of her, and in the dream she did something indescribable with him. After that he woke up and went to the toilet. After replying to Lin Jiej's message, Shi Yao couldn't hold back her drowsiness any longer, and she fell into a blurry state of sleep. After an unknown period of time she began to dream. The dream was illusory yet real. Chapter 194. In her dream she was eating happily and blissfully. But this heavenly dream didn't last long. She saw Qin Iran swinging a stick at her and Lin Jiej pulled her into his embrace. Even though the dream was noisy, she still heard the words, Happy birthday, Soft Bun. Happy birthday, Shi Yao. Following which, the scene abruptly changed. She was pinned down on the bed, and his face was inches away from hers. Shi Yao returned to school on the afternoon of the weekend. Of course, she didn't forget to bring along the trash she had collected from her job as a garbage collector. As Lin Jiej had given her too much trash, Shi Yao couldn't carry it all by herself. So when she was close to school, she gave Leng Wan a call for help. As soon as Shi Yao got out of the car, she saw Leng Wan, He Tiantian, and Jiang Yu. While paying the fare, she beckoned them over. Hurry up and help me get my. Just as the word trash was about to slip out of her mouth, Shi Yao realized that she had been led astray by Lin Jiej, so she quickly corrected herself. Stuff? Then, the four of them carried bags of various sizes back to their dormitory room. Along the way, Shi Yao received quite a few complaints. Leng Wan, ow, have you gone mad? Did you move the entire fruit store to our school? He Tianting, do you know that fruits have a high sugar content? Eating too much of it will make you fat? Jiang Yu, are you planning to live off fruits this week? Shi Yao, that's not it. I'm recycling the trash that someone threw away. Jiang Yu, who's the one who threw away the trash? He Tiantian, Tell me the address. I'll recycle it every day, and I'll set up a fruit stall to make a fortune. Upon reaching the dormitory room, Lung Wan put down the bags of various sizes and drank half a cup of water before interrupting He Tian and Zhang Yu's complaints. All right, let's not talk about the fruit anymore. Let's get to the point first. What point? Shi Yao asked in return. She squatted down, picked up the biggest watermelon, and carried it to the washroom to wash. Under Lung Wan's reminder, Zhang Yu immediately spoke up. Oh right. Ayao, let me tell you something tragic. The 100-meter sprint that you signed up for the sports meet was mistakenly registered as a 10,000 m marathon. He Tian. What do you mean by a mistake? That must be Qin Iran's doing, right? She is a member of the student council and is in charge of the sports meet. Last year, she got first place in the 10,000 m marathon, so she changed Yao to this event. I'm afraid she wants to torture Yao to death. At that time, the forum will be in chaos again. Zhang Yu said, how can someone be so shameless? Lingering like a ghost. Let's change 100 meters to 10,000 meters. Compared to the other two's pointless roasting, Lung Wan's words were more practical. Yao, I've gone to the class monitor to reason with him, but he said that the decision has already been made and it can't be changed. If you really can't run away, you should just participate in it as a token. Shi Yao nodded as she passed the sliced watermelon over to her 3 roommates. Come, have some watermelon. Chapter 195. She wasn't stupid. Why would Zhang Yu ask her that? Shi Yao shot Zhang Yu a peculiar look. After swallowing the watermelon, she nodded her head vehemently and said, I understand. Before taking another bite of the watermelon. Hidanan. Then why are you reacting in such a manner? It was 10,000 meters. 10,000 meters. That's Qin Iran's forte. You're going to be tortured by her. Oh, I'll show you my reaction after she tortures me, Shi Yao said as she picked up another piece of watermelon. Zhang Yu raised her voice. Sure. Qi Yao. Calm down, calm down. Shi Yao hugged the watermelon tightly as she backed away from the ferocious Zhang Yu. Her eyes creased into crescents as she said with a gentle voice, isn't the sports meet still a few days away? We'll talk about it during the competition. Hurry up and eat your watermelon, it won't taste good later. On the other hand, Zhang Yu seemed to have been angered by Shi Yao's disappointed expression. She picked up a huge piece of watermelon and stuffed it into her mouth, taking a huge bite. He Tian shook her head helplessly as she picked up a piece of watermelon as well. On the other hand, Lung Wan didn't have much of a reaction. She picked up a piece of watermelon with the fewest seeds and chewed on it slowly. At 8 p.m., having nothing better to do, Shi Yao headed over to the sexy and frisky WeChat group. Following which, Yao loves ice cream, 111,111, expert of the monkeys, and Ju successfully formed a party, and they headed off to the desert map to fight. Tonight, other than Shi Yao, the other 3 were in good form, winning chicken dinner after chicken dinner. When it was almost 9:30 p.m., the game ended. When he returned to the hall, a message appeared on the screen. It was from 111111. I have something to do later, so I can't play anymore. Seeing those words, Shi Yao also spoke up. What a coincidence. I can't play anymore either. Juice. Sis Yao, you have something on as well? Hearing Juice's question, Shi Yao retracted the potato chips that were just about to reach her mouth. It's nothing much. It's just that I'm going on a date with my Adonis. Expert of the monkeys. Adonis? Expert of the monkeys. Sis Yao, you have a boyfriend? No, my idol is my idol. Shi Yao swallowed the potato chips in her mouth and quickly explained. He's going to live stream later, so I'm going to watch it. Expert of the monkeys. I see. Shi Yao wasn't sure if it was just her imagination, but for some reason, she felt as if Expert had heaved a sigh of relief. Juice, a live stream? Which celebrity is doing a live broadcast tonight? Why didn't I see any publicity? Yao loves ice cream. My idol isn't a celebrity. He's a professional gamer. The reason why I'm playing PUBG is because of him. It was as if Shi Yao was sharing her most precious treasure, and she couldn't hide the pride in her words at all. Let me tell you guys. I'm sure you've heard of my idol's name. He's Legend, the captain of AE Squadron. The Legend who won the championship for 3 consecutive years. Did you guys know that my idol is super powerful? He's known as the Demon King, El God, and the Sniper God. In this world, besides Yuan Longping, the person I admire the most is him. As a qualified glutton, the father of hybrid rice, was worthy of respect. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao was just about to continue praising her Adonis when a melodious voice suddenly sounded in her earpiece. Why do you like Legend? Chapter 196. Why do you like Legend? Shi Yao was taken aback for a moment before realizing that the person who had spoken this time wasn't Juice or Expert but Mr. Numbers. It was rare for Mr. Numbers to have a voice chat, and this was one of the few times he had spoken to her. However, just like the first time, Shi Yao was mesmerized by his pleasant voice for a moment before she hurriedly snapped out of her reverie and replied to less than 111,111's question. The first time I noticed Legend was because he was a little different from the other professional players. He didn't show his face, live stream, participate in commercial performances, or interact actively with fans. Of course, that was only because I noticed him and knew that he was a professional player. To be honest, I couldn't even remember the letters of his class name, Legend. Besides, I don't play games, so I know very little about them. That's why I didn't know that he was very strong back then. I only noticed him for a moment before lowering my head to eat my mala hot pot. Shi Yao paused for a moment before explaining. I was still in high school back then, and I was eating mala hot pot with my classmates across the street. The boss of the mala hot pot was watching the competition. The next time I came to know about Legend was by chance. Back then I was bored riding the bus home, so I took out my phone and browsed through Weibo. I saw that he was on the trending searches and there was an interview with him. Unlike other professional players, it wasn't a video interview but a transcript of Legend's words. That was 3 years ago, but there was a paragraph in the interview that I remember very clearly. Adonis said that he wasn't the strongest newcomer, nor was he a dark horse in esports. He was someone who purely loved to play games. He said that in the esports circle, every single professional player is worthy of respect, because they have given up on the path that ordinary people take to choose the path that is crueler than any other path. Many people think that the esports circle is all about the stage, the lights, the glory, the cheers, the shouts, and the flattery. But that's not the case. This circle is filled with tears, blood, dreams, and sweat. Every single professional player gives it their all. But the path to the championship is a narrow one. Results speak louder than words. When you have results, everyone says that you're invincible. But when you don't, no one will acknowledge your talent. Everyone only remembers the champion, and no one knows how the second place got off the stage. Adonis also said that he doesn't expect the esports industry to be accepted by the public, but he hopes that there won't be any prejudice against him. After all, everyone in the industry is gambling with their youth. At the very end of the interview, Adonis said something that touched me deeply. Shi Yao paused for a moment before continuing. There are no regrets in the youth of esports, and they are motivated to move forward and bring glory to the country. It was that interview that made me start paying attention to my Adonis. I looked through all of his matches and how should I put it? I saw passion in him. He entered the esports circle because of his passion. Of course, it's not that Adonis doesn't love money. I don't think there's anyone in the world who doesn't love money. And I love it very much as well. After all, only with money can we have a lot of delicious food. But what I saw in Adonis wasn't a desire for fame and fortune but a passion for gaming. I think that's a rare trait, so I unhesitatingly became his fan. Chapter 197. Shi Yao muttered to herself for a very, very long time. When she was done, she stuffed a potato chip into her mouth. Halfway through her mouth, she suddenly realized that she had said too much. After swallowing the potato chip, Shi Yao spoke up in embarrassment. I'm sorry about that. I accidentally said too much. After saying those words, Shi Yao couldn't help but add, but don't you think that my Adonis is really charismatic? Shi Yao thought that Juice or Expert would be the first to respond to her, but instead of 111,111, he said, that's all. After which, 111111 left. I'm leaving before exiting the game room. What do you mean by that? My Adonis is clearly very handsome, alright? Sure Yao's lips twitched as she stuffed another potato chip into her mouth. My Adonis doesn't care about Mr. Number's compliments at all. 111,111's words broke the silence between the other two. Juice. Sis Yao, I didn't think that you'd be such a deep person. Expert of the monkeys. That's right, Sis Yao. Do you know that your words just now made me feel that your image in my heart has grown a lot taller and mightier? It's fine as long as I'm taller, but what's with mightier? It's not like I want to be a fatty, however. Sure Yao was already used to experts' words, so she didn't fuss over it. Instead, she gleefully replied, of course. I'm a cultured glutton. Juice. Sis Yao, are you sure you're just praising yourself? Expert of the monkeys. Of course I am. A good appetite is a blessing, and Sis Yao is the best glutton in the world. Sure Yao's eyes curled up as she nodded in agreement with Expert. Sure enough, Brother Expert knows how to speak. Juice. I'm glad that my grandson is finally being praised by someone. Expert of the monkeys. Grandson, why can't you understand seniority? I'm clearly your grandfather. Juice, what? What am I to you? Expert of the monkeys. Grandfather. Juice. Good grandson, call me that again. Listening to the two of them bickering with one another through the earpiece, Sure Yao froze for a moment before saying, well, you two can continue bickering. I'm going to look for my Adonis now. In the end, it was still due to her time spent chatting with Juice and Expert that by the time she arrived at Legend's livestream room, the latter's game had already been going on for 5 minutes. Many people were spamming the screen with gifts. Sure Yao was filled with admiration for the other party's tycoon, as she rushed 100 RMB into the account. She only had 300 RMB left for this month's allowance, and there was still a week's time before she could claim her allowance for the next month. This was all she could give her Adonis. In order to dominate the screen as well, Sure Yao specially tipped Zhang Xian 1 RMB at a time. After she was done with the gifts, she watched the live stream for about half an hour before her date with her idol ended. Exiting the live stream platform, Sure Yao noticed that there was a notification in the WeChat group. She clicked into the chat and saw that Juice and Expert had already shifted the topic of grandpa and grandson from the game to the group. Sure Yao blushed in embarrassment for a second before sending a message. I just treated my Adonis like a tycoon. Juice. How rich is he? Chapter 198. Expert of the monkeys. He's really a tycoon. Sis Yao, you can change your name to Tycoon Yao now. Yao loves ice cream. The other party accepted your title without any hesitation and returned you a smile. Yao loves ice cream. Now that I think about it, I'm really a tycoon. 100 RMB. 100 RMB. I can buy 100 packets of spicy gluten, 200 lollipops, 20 bottles of drinks, 15 chicken drumsticks, and 5 meals of mala hot pot. Yao loves ice cream. Now that I think about it, I'm really in love with my Adonis. Shortly after Sure Yao's message was successfully sent out, 111,111, who rarely appeared in the group, appeared and sent her a red packet. Juice received the red packet and sent a kneel down and call me daddy emoji. Expert of the monkeys received the red packet and sent a kneel down and call me daddy emoji. Even Tide, who often went crazy, also received the red packet and sent a thank you boss emoji. Seeing that everyone had received their red packets, Sure Yao tapped on the red packet as well. A huge sum of money worth 200 yuan entered her wallet. Sure Yao was overwhelmed by the favor and agitated. She quickly sent a big boss emoji. 111,111 only received 4 red packets. After receiving them, he sent another one, and the amount was still the same as before, 200 renminbi per person. Everyone continued receiving their red packets and sent, kneel down and call me daddy, thank you boss and big boss emoji. 111,111 only stopped after sending 5 red packets in a row. Juice. Boss, don't tell me your account was hacked? Expert of the monkeys. That's right. Why did boss send so many red packets out of the blue? Just as Sure Yao was about to reply, 111,111 message appeared on her phone screen. I don't have any other intentions. I just want to show you what a real tycoon looks like. So Mr. Numbers had appeared just to slap her in the face? This person is too much. But then again, it seems like Mr. Numbers isn't wrong. He really is a tycoon. 5,800 renminbi red packets, that's 4,000 renminbi in total. In less than a minute, he had already squandered 4,000 renminbi. Out of pure curiosity, Shi Yao began typing. Yao loves ice cream, that's a real tycoon. Are you a second-generation tycoon? Expert of the monkeys. He's a second-generation rich, but our boss is also a first-generation rich. Juice, that's right. Our boss's savings have already broken through the 8-digit mark. I reckon it'll break through the 9-digit mark before the end of the year. Shi Yao silently counted with her fingers for a long while before she finally understood the concept of 8 and 9 digits. Then she replied awkwardly, "Oh, do you mean there's a decimal point in the middle of the numbers you're talking about?" Tied. No, it's tens of millions and hundreds of millions. That's how rich he is. No, it's 10 million and 100 million, 10 million and 100 million. When she played the game, not only did she get matched with the Almighty among the Almighty, but she also got matched with the Almighty among the Almighty. Shi Yao was stunned for a moment before she replied, "What should I do? When I look at your boss now, it's like I'm looking at mountains of delicacies, seafood snacks and fruits." Tied. 6666. Juice. 66666. Expert of the monkeys. 666,666. Chapter 199. What does he mean by that? Is he mocking me, or is he mocking those three? Shi Yao racked her brain for a long time, but she couldn't come up with an answer. Instead, a thought surfaced in her mind. So what if you're rich? But less than 30 seconds after this thought surfaced in her mind, Shi Yao was slapped in the face. Fine, it's indeed amazing to be rich, especially when that money is used to buy mountains of delicacies, seafood snacks and fruits. In the days that followed, Shi Yao's life was very simple. Eating, going to class and playing games. Such days flew by quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was time for the spring sports meet. On the first day of the spring sports meet, the students of the academy would wear their custom-made uniforms and enter the stadium for a ceremony. After that, it would be the women's relay race. In the afternoon, there would be the men's long jump race, men's relay race, women's 100-meter sprint race, and women's 10,000 m marathon race. The first three events didn't have much to do with Shi Yao's dormitory, but the final event, the women's 10,000 m marathon race, was something that Shi Yao would be participating in. While Shi Yao's dormitory was on the way to the canteen, Zhang Yu, He Tian, and Leng Wan were already worrying about the race. He Tian, 10,000 m sprint race. Even if she doesn't die, she'll be half crippled. Zhang Yu, so it doesn't matter if she dies or becomes half crippled. The best solution is for Yao Yao not to participate in it. He Tian, but how can she not participate? She has to come up with a flawless excuse so that others won't think that she's running away because she's afraid. Zhang Yu, why don't we just say that she's on her period? I don't think that's possible. After all, Yao Yao has already used this excuse during her physical education class 2 weeks ago. As she spoke, He Tian turned to Shi Yao and asked, "How have you thought about what you should do?" Seeing that Shi Yao was ignoring He Tian, Zhang Yu tugged on her arm and asked, "Yao Yao? Why are you in a daze?" Shi Yao shook her head nonchalantly. "Nothing, I'm not in a daze. Rather than worrying about what you're talking about, I should be worrying about whether I should have mala hot pot or sweet and sour pork for lunch." He Tian, so you're saying that the eunuch is more anxious than the emperor? Zhang Yu, yes, this eunuch is dying of anxiety. Leng Wan, who had been silent all this while, suddenly spoke up with a gentle tone. "All right, the two of you calm down. I've already thought it through. When Yao Yao goes to the competition in the afternoon, she'll intentionally knock into Chiniran and fall to the ground. Then she'll pretend to have sprained her ankle. This way she won't lose face and she won't be able to cause trouble on the forums. At the same time, she'll be able to get back at Chiniran for changing Yao Yao's name." He Tian's eyes immediately lit up. "Wan, you really are my goddess. What a brilliant move." Zhang Yu, Nuan in ancient times, she would be the material to torture all the concubines to death and become empress. Leng Wan, you're wrong. I have the potential to torture the emperor to death and become the empress dowager. He Tiantian and Jiang Yu raised their thumbs in admiration toward Leng Nuan. Then Jiang Yu turned to Shi Yao and asked, have you memorized Leng Nuan's advice? That's what we'll do in the afternoon. Let's torture Qin Iran to death. Shi Yao nodded, indicating that she got it. After which, she urged the three of them to hurry up and line up for their meals. After lunch, Shi Yao returned to her dormitory room and began looking through her sportswear and running shoes. Since Qin Iran was the one to face in the afternoon, Jiang Yu and He Tiantian came over to help Shi Yao choose her clothes in order to make her look better than Qin Iran. Chapter 200. Jiang Yu chose a pair of sports shoes that Lin Jai had given to Shi Yao on her birthday last week. This pair of shoes is really good. There are many celebrities wearing them, and they're extremely popular. They've always been out of stock in the country, so you can't even buy them. Furthermore, they're extremely expensive. Wear this, and you'll be able to crush Qin Iran like a nouveau riche. He Tiantian chose a set of sports clothes that Grandpa Lin had bought for her during the spring festival. This outfit is beautiful, and it's a young lady's red with a fair complexion. You'll definitely look stunning in it. Do a bun and you'll look youthful and energetic. Qin Iran won't be able to match up to you. Jiang Yu agreed. Yao, this is the first time you're standing together with Qin Iran in real life after the incident on the forum. You mustn't lose to her, so you should put on some makeup later. There's no need for that. Shi Yao was left speechless by Jiang Yu, and He Tiantian for a moment before speaking up. I'll definitely have to wear my old sports clothes and shoes. The more I wear them, the more comfortable they become. This is especially so for new shoes. They might chafe against my feet. At this point, Shi Yao paused for only a second. As if she knew what He Tiantian and Jiang Yu were going to say next, she quickly interjected. Also, you mustn't put on any makeup. It's such a hot day, and you'll be sweating profusely. Your makeup will be ruined, and you'll look really ugly. Besides, this is the sports meet, not a beauty pageant. He Tiantian and Jiang Yu were just about to persuade Shi Yao when Leng Nuan, who was sitting on the bed and looking at her phone, suddenly spoke up. Alright, stop messing around. Yao's words make sense. Even though Jiang Yu regretted that she couldn't get Shi Yao to dress up beautifully for the sports meet, she still chose to respect Shi Yao's opinion. However, she still pointed out the inappropriateness of Shi Yao's words. Alright, as long as Yao is happy. In any case, our Yao is pretty, so she'll be able to match up to Qin Iran even without makeup. Let's just treat it as giving her some space to survive. However, there's one thing that I have to say. You said that you'll be sweating profusely after running? You? Are you sure you can run all the way? If you can really run all the way, I'll pay for all your milk tea this month. He Tiantian. Top comment, I don't need you to be first. If you can make it out of here alive, I'll take care of all your yogurt for this month. Leng Nuan. +1. Potato chips 1 month. Milk tea yogurt potato chips. Without any hesitation, Shi Yao replied, alright. At 2:30 p.m. all the students gathered at the field. Shi Yao's 10 kilometers race was scheduled for 5 in the afternoon. Of them. As for Shi Yao, Yao of the Yao, Song Yao said with a Yao thought. At 4:30 in the afternoon, accompanied by 2 young ladies, Qin Iran walked past Shi Yao's class and headed for the starting line. She was already familiarizing herself with the running track and doing her warm-ups. Yu Yan but to Yi Yang dressed Qin meet. And Shan that Qin Yao dressed and she wore. And said, Long Shi. Yao Yun Chen of head. Qin. The Yu Yao Yi Yun. Yu. Of Yu Yan Yang. Yun and Chan Yun Ting Yu, comma. Yang. Jiang Yu Qin Yun Jiang. Yan. By Yu her the Yang Dong Yang. Chapter 201. Despite their disdain, the 3 roommates were still a little worried about Shi Yao. When the participants for the women's 10 kilometers marathon were announced through the speakers on the podium, they couldn't help but urge Shi Yao to take care of herself. Jiang Yu. Even though we have no choice but to participate in this race, it doesn't matter whether we win or lose. Your health is more important. If you can't finish the race, don't force yourself. He Tiantian nodded vehemently. That's right. Oh, if you can't finish the race, let's just stop. And most will just be mocked by others. Don't worry, you still have us. Lung Nguyen tugged Shi Yao's hand and said, even if you can't finish the race and give up halfway, I'll still buy you a month's worth of potato chips. It would be a lie to say that she wasn't touched, but this really wasn't the time to be sentimental. Shi Yao replied to her 3 roommates with a comforting smile. It's all right, I'm not a child anymore. I know what I'm doing, so you don't have to worry. After saying those words, Shi Yao ran down the steps and headed to the starting line to register. Qin Iran's expression visibly froze upon seeing Shi Yao's arrival, but it only lasted for an instant before a radiant smile blossomed on her face, reminiscent of a flower blooming under the sun. She didn't know what she was talking about with the 2 girls who had accompanied her. Then, the 2 girls stopped massaging her arms and legs and took a few steps away from her. As if she was warming up, she began to press her legs. However, her movements were much more beautiful than those of an ordinary person, and her figure was so graceful that it looked as if she was practicing a dance. This was especially so when she did a split, which elicited cheers from the nearby spectator stands. Upon seeing this sight, Shi Yao's expression remained calm, as if it had nothing to do with her at all. Following the physical education teacher's instructions, she lightly rubbed her legs and bounced a few times on the spot to relax. Qin Iran glanced at Shi Yao's inconspicuous warm-up from the corner of her eyes, and a disdainful sneer crept onto her lips. Lin Jiej, who was sitting in the shade with his earphones on, was busy playing with his phone, completely oblivious to the happenings outside. Beside him, Xia Shangzhou was supporting his head with a hand, looking drowsy. Lu Benlai raised a pair of binoculars and scanned the entire school. This is really weird. I've been looking for my wife for the entire morning, but why haven't I found her yet? Xia Shangzhou shot a disdainful glance at Lu Benlai. Don't you have any shame? Return my wife to me. She might not even know your name. Lu Benlai retracted his binoculars and said, it's none of your business. No one will think that you're a mute if you don't speak. Xia Shangzhou. None of your business, I just want to talk. Lu Benlai. Is that what you said? That's bullsh**t. Xia Shangzhou replied. You sure are full of shit. Did I hear you wrong? I think I heard Junior sister's name. Lu Benlai was just about to retort back when he fell silent. Instead, he focused his attention on the broadcast for a moment, and a moment later, he was so shocked that his jaw nearly fell to the ground. It's really little Junior's name. And it's the women's 10 kilometers marathon. Xia Shangzhou turned to Lin Jiej and said, Boss, did you hear that? Junior 10,000 meters. Chapter 202. Even if he were to use his toes to think about it, there was no way it could be soft bun. One must know that in the physical education class, she was already panting heavily after running a single lap. Besides, with soft bun's thin arms and legs, wouldn't running a 10,000-meter marathon be no different from courting death? Besides, it's not like soft bun is a fool. Why would she seek death for no reason? Xia Shangzhou. Boss, are you saying that there are 2 Shi Yaos in G University? Lin Jiej didn't respond to the question. Instead, he continued playing with his phone, but in his heart, he was thinking that there was no way that Shi Yao could be compared to his soft bun. The difference between them was like the difference between heaven and earth. Seeing how confident Lin Jiej was, Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou didn't take his words to heart. One of them continued to doze off while the other picked up his binoculars to scan his surroundings. After the gunshot, many girls at the starting line broke into a run. From time to time, waves after waves of cheering could be heard from the surroundings. Lu Benlai looked from the east side of the field to the west side of the field, and as he scanned the track with his binoculars, he saw a familiar figure. He abruptly stopped in his tracks and stared at the figure for a moment before reaching out to pat Lin Jiej's arm. Boss, it's really. Xia Shangzhou, who was on the verge of dozing off, was jolted awake by Lu Benlai's startled voice. Really? Can't you speak without straightening your tongue? I. Lu Benlai stammered out a few I's in shock before he finally got to the point. This Shi Yao is that Shi Yao. Xia Shangzhou couldn't understand what Lu Benlai was talking about at all. Not only can you not speak properly, you can't even express yourself properly. Before Xia Shangzhou could finish his words, Lin Jiej had already turned his gaze toward the field. With just a single glance he frowned. Then, he reached out and snatched Lu Benlai's binoculars away. That nose, those eyes, that mouth, those slender arms and legs. It really was his soft bun. Oh, is soft bun insane? So what if she's participating in the sports meet? She can't even run a 400-meter lap. But she's running a 10,000-meter race? Hey, could it be that this little fiancé that his grandfather gave him was a masochist? Xia Shangzhou finally came to a realization. He stared at the sprinting Shi Yao for a moment before exclaiming, "And no, that can't be, right? Is she really little junior sister? Lu Benlai, can't you speak with your tongue straight? It's none of your business." Amidst the bickering between the two, Lin Jiej tossed the binoculars into Lu Benlai's hands and raised his phone. He had to call an ambulance in case of emergency. Lin Jiej had just pressed 120 when he suddenly stopped. He pondered for 2 seconds, then put his phone away and walked to the side of the track. Forget it, he would stay by the side of the track. If something went wrong with her, he would carry her away from the track. Seeing that Lin Jiej was leaving, Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai quickly followed after him. By the time the three of them reached the edge of the track, the person in first place had already completed a full lap around the track, a distance of 400 meters. They knew that the person in first place was none other than Qin Yiran. On the other hand, Shi Yao had only completed 3/4 of the lap. Among the female students participating in the competition, she could be considered as one of the last few. Chapter 203. By the time Qin Yiran had run 3 laps, Shi Yao had run 2 laps. By now, Qin Yiran had already overtaken Shi Yao by a full lap. By the time Qin Yiran had run 5 laps, Shi Yao had run 3.5 laps. Qin Yiran had overtaken Shi Yao by exactly 1.5 lap. Xia Shangzhou couldn't help but comment, "The gap between little junior and campus farce Qin is growing wider and wider. I'm afraid that it'll be difficult for her to win." Lu Benlai shot a glance at Lin Jiej, who was standing by the side, and saw that the latter was calmly looking at Shi Yao, seemingly not paying any attention to the situation on the field. Thus he replied, "Indeed. She's already overtaken by 1.5 laps. Even though long-distance running is a test of endurance, it'll still be difficult for her to catch up if the gap widens. Xia Shangzhou, what should we do? I really don't want little junior to be tortured by campus farce Qin." Lu Benlai, "The most important thing is to participate. Besides, it's a 10 kilometers marathon. Little junior deserves praise for her courage." The two of them continued chatting about the situation on the field. However, Lin Jiej didn't seem to hear their words at all. His eyes were still glued to Shi Yao, ready to enter the field to save her at any moment. Time slowly ticked by and soon the field was nearing its middle phase. Lu Benlai observed the field for a moment before asking with a perplexed tone, "Did you notice anything? Xia Shangzhou, what's going on?" Lu Benlai, "This is campus farce Qin's 9th lap, right?" Xia Shangzhou nodded. "That's right. So what?" Lu Benlai, "This is little junior's 7th lap, and she's already halfway through the 7th lap. In other words, the gap between campus farce Qin and little junior hasn't widened at all since the 5th lap." Xia Shangzhou nodded in realization. "That's right. I wouldn't have noticed it if you hadn't mentioned it. Furthermore, little junior's speed seems to be gradually increasing. Is it my imagination?" Lu Benlai stared at the field for a moment before replying, "It's not your imagination. She's really increasing in speed. Little junior has already fallen from the 3rd from the bottom to the 4th from the bottom." Xia Shangzhou, "Little junior has fallen from the 5th from the bottom, 6th from the bottom, 7th from the bottom. But that's not the most frightening thing. The most frightening thing is that little junior's speed is still increasing." Lu Benlai, "Indeed. Furthermore, little junior is only a step away from farce Qin now." Xia Shangzhou said, "Campus farce Qin's speed has remained the same as before, and little junior's speed has not changed either. The distance between her and campus farce Qin has broken through 1 lap, and there's still about 4/5 of the distance between them. Little junior's rank has also left the bottom of the list, and now." Xia Shangzhou silently counted for a while, then said, 11th. Lu Benlai. Impressive little junior. It looks like she's going to get into the top 10 soon. She actually overtook 2 people and is now in 9th place. The heck, this can't be right? Little junior's sister sped up again? This was her 14th round, right? It's already 5,600 meters, and it can still accelerate? Xia Shangzhou. I'm impressed. I'm only half a lap behind Farsh Qin. I'm now in the top 5. Right after Xia Shangzhou said those words, Shi Yao had already overtaken another person, Lu Benlai. He's already in 4th place. He's roughly 100 meters away from Qin Iran now. Chapter 204. Lu Benlai. But Campus Farsh Qin is also starting to pick up speed. It's a tug-of-war now, and the gap between Little Junior and Campus Farsh Qin won't be able to open up anymore, Xia Shangzhou. The further we go, the harder it is to catch up because everyone is tired. I think Little Junior is already at her fastest speed. If Little Junior can't speed up, it will be difficult to overtake Farsh Qin. After saying those words, Xia Shangzhou turned to Lu Benlai and asked, "Which round is it now?" Lu Benlai, 20 laps. There are only 5 laps left to determine the victor, Xia Shangzhou. There are only 4.5 laps left, and we still can't close the gap. This is going to be really dangerous. For more. Before Lu Benlai could finish the word circle, his eyes abruptly widened in shock. Seriously? Little Junior's sister can speed up? F***ck. I'm going to kneel down to her. Xia Shangzhou was equally shocked. F***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf ***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf****ckf****ckf****ckf****ckf****ckf****ckf****ckf****ckf****ckf****ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf***ckf* campus farce Qin. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Just as excited as Lu Benlai were the students in the academy. The deafening cheers and screams almost broke the sky of the sports field. Xia Shangzhou, that's not the point, okay? More importantly, the junior is still accelerating. She has already overtaken campus farce Qin by 50 meters. Half a lap. Almost a lap. Is this a movie? In the last 3 laps, little junior is going to overtake Qin Iran by 1 lap? It's already 1 lap, okay? Little junior's first place is secured. Lu Benlai suddenly choked on his words. Little junior is still accelerating? With this speed, he could probably run 400 meters, right? Oh my god, she's already 1.5 laps ahead of campus farce Qin. She's even more than campus farce Qin's 1.5 laps lead at the beginning of the race. There were quite a few people in the surroundings who were stunned by Shi Yao's final sprint. Even though they didn't know who she was, there were still quite a few of them who stood up and cheered her on. On the 25th lap, which was also the last 100 meters of the final lap, Shi Yao's speed had already reached the limit of her 100-meter sprint. The red string at the finish line had already been pulled up. A second before Shi Yao reached the red string, she had already overtaken Qin Iran, running 2 laps more than the latter. Jiang Yu, He Tian, and Leng Wan were already waiting at the finishing line. When they saw that Shi Yao had finished her run, they immediately rushed forward and hugged her tightly. After the merry banter, Shi Yao stood at the finish line, not in a hurry to leave. Instead, she watched as the other competitors continued with their respective races. When Qin Iran finished her 24th lap, she happened to be right in front of Shi Yao. Shi Yao passed the bottle of water that Leng Wan had brought over back to her before stretching her arms to stretch her muscles. After which, she wrapped her arms around her legs and easily pulled them up to her ears. Shi Yao could clearly see that Qin Iran's complexion had turned a little awful, and her footsteps had become a little disorderly. She didn't think that she didn't know. Back then, during physical education class, she couldn't run because she wasn't feeling well during her period. She thought that she couldn't make it, and wanted to use the 10,000-meter race to torture her. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao raised her chin slightly and did a perfect split on the ground. Warming up before the match? What kind of ability is that? If you have the ability, warm up after the match. Who wasn't a little beauty who could do the splits? Chapter 205. As Yao retracted her split and stood up with ease, He Tian noticed her actions and leaned over to her ear to ask, what are you doing? I'm messing around. Yao replied honestly before shooting a glance at Qin Iran once more. Her complexion had turned even uglier than before. Putting aside her footsteps, even her chest was heaving up and down unsteadily. Yao knew that Qin Iran had been agitated by her. If she didn't adjust her emotions, she might end up suffering from a heart attack later on. However, that was unlikely to happen. If she could really maintain her composure, she wouldn't have put on so many sock puppet accounts to slander the students who were vying with her for the position of campus belle. Messing around? Do you have some kind of misunderstanding about what messing around means? Do you think that you're ruining the sports meet or blowing up the sports field? Even though your pose is indeed pretty, Zhang Yu thought that Yao was spouting nonsense, so she couldn't help but nag at her. Yao watched as Qin Iran ran past her before replying to Zhang Yu with a straight face. I can't ruin the sports meet or blow up the sports field. I'm just interfering with the outcome of the competition. She was clearly mocking her, but she actually replied to her as though it was a normal conversation. Can you even allow me to speak properly? Zhang Yu was rendered speechless by Yao for a long while before she moved her lips. Interfering with the outcome of the competition? Do you think that you're a deity? Before Zhang Yu could finish her words, Qin Iran's hand suddenly clutched her waist, and like a deflated balloon, her speed dropped significantly. The third-place student behind Qin Iran was hot on her heels. Her momentary lapse in concentration soon caused her to be overtaken by the third-place student. Zhang Yu widened her eyes in shock. No way, right? Are you really a deity? You actually made Qin Iran fall to third place? Yao's lips twitched as she looked at Zhang Yu and asked, Do I look that harmless? Zhang Yu looked at the sweet young lady and nodded. Yes, you look so harmless that I'm afraid that you'll be abducted on the streets. Yao pouted as she turned to look at He Tian. He Tian also nodded without any hesitation. Harmless to the point that you're afraid of being abducted. You're practically a retarded child. Humph, you're the retarded child. Yao proudly turned her head to look at Qin Iran, who was still slowing down on the field, and said, I'm not as kind as you think I am. I don't want Qin Iran to become third place. I want her to be unable to even get into the top 10. He Tian looked at her in disbelief. There's only half left. Are you? Zhang Yu added, and it's just a daydream. Chapter 206. She was supposed to pummel Yao, but who could have thought that she would be the one being pummeled by Yao instead? Anyone in her position would probably die of rage from the sudden change. Amidst Lung Nuan's calm analysis, Qin Iran was overtaken by another 3 people one after another. At this point she had already fallen from first place to 6th place. And right behind her there were still 5 or 6 people chasing after her. When Qin Iran's name dropped to the 7th place, she seemed to have run out of energy, and she came to a halt. She took 2 steps forward before squatting down right before the eyes of the entire school. Qin Iran's outcome was far worse than Yao had expected. Putting aside getting into the top 10, she didn't even reach the finish line before giving up. Seeing such an outcome, Yao couldn't help but sweat in her heart. It was just as Sis Jai had said. Qin Iran was a good-for-nothing through and through. She was the one who had initiated many of the attacks, but when she saw that she was no match for Qin Iran, she didn't even dare to compete with her anymore. To think that such a person would have the cheek to pick a fight with her. With such thoughts in mind, Yao couldn't help but shake her head and say, it doesn't take much intelligence for someone like her to retaliate. Hearing Yao's words, Zhang Yu finally snapped out of the drama of the competition and said, Yao, I won't say that you're harmless anymore. You're a witch. What witch? She's clearly a demoness. After expressing her opinion, He Tian suddenly thought of something, and she turned to Yao and asked, you're clearly capable of running a 10 kilometers marathon. Why didn't you tell us earlier? Yao replied calmly, none of you asked me. He Tian. Zhang Yu. A moment later Zhang Yu finally spoke up. All right then. Even if we didn't ask, you should have taken the initiative to tell us. That's such an incredible specialty. Yao blinked her eyes and said, isn't my specialty what I'm best at? When I introduced myself to you, I told you that my specialty is eating. There's nothing wrong with that. He Tiantian. Jiang Yu. Shi Yao looked at the silent duo and blinked her eyes once more. Besides, is running a 10 kilometers marathon that difficult? Is that even a specialty? He Tian. Jiang Yu. Miss, are you serious? Or are you cracking a cold joke? Strange, what did they mean by this? Shi Yao stared at the two of them for a while longer before speaking up once more. Let me tell you something. Back when I went to Xi'an to play, I got really good at the bowl-smashing wine. I drank so much that the person sitting next to me changed several times. He Tiantian. Jiang Yu. Please don't say any more, maiden. However, Shi Yao didn't hear their thoughts at all. She moved her lips, wanting to say something, but before she could say anything, her name had already been announced from the podium, and she was asked to proceed to the podium to receive her award. As she had clinched first place after receiving her prize, a reporter from the school's reporter society came over to interview her. Student Shi Yao, you've broken our school's record in the 10 kilometers marathon. Is there anything you would like to say about it? Shi Yao pondered for a moment before replying humbly. It's not too bad. It's just that I did my best. I wasn't even able to break the 10,000 m sprint record I set in high school. The interviewer seemed to be stumped by the question. It took a long while before he asked once more. What's your greatest feeling after the 10 kilometers marathon? Chapter 207. Well, there's yogurt, milk tea, and potato chips for a month. Shi Yao's voice traveled steadily into Lin Jie's ears through the speakers. It was only after hearing those words that he was finally convinced that the girl who won the 10-kilometer sprint championship and broke the record was really Soft Bun, the soft bun with slender arms and legs. So, all of his previous thoughts had been slapped in the face? She didn't need an ambulance at all, nor did she need him to carry her away from the track. The little fiancé that his grandfather had forced onto him was not only not a masochist, but a hidden long-distance running expert too? The first time was the forum storm, the second was the physical education class, and this was the third sports meet. She had already surprised him thrice in a row. Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou were equally shocked. Lu Benlai. Boss, little junior won the championship. Xia Shangzhou. It's one thing that she won the championship, but to think that she could even do the splits after the 10 kilometers sprint. Lu Benlai. 6666666666666. Seeing that Lin Jie was standing calmly by the side, Xia Shangzhou repeated Lu Benlai's words once more. Boss, little junior won the championship. Lin Jie nodded. I saw it. Xia Shangzhou. Then why aren't you happy at all? You should know that little junior's race was really exciting. It felt like watching an NBA game. My blood was boiling with excitement. How was he unhappy? He was practically flying into the sky. Not only so, he was also shocked, astonished, agitated, and proud. Lin Jie was just about to reply to Xia Shangzhou that he was happy, but he suddenly realized that if he were to reply like that, wouldn't he be telling Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai that he didn't know much about soft bun? After 2 seconds of silence, Lin Jie glanced at Xia Shangzhou with a knowing look on his face and said, Isn't that normal? Is there a need to make such a big fuss over it? Xia Shangzhou was rendered speechless for a moment before replying, Boss, since you knew that little junior would win, why did you say that she wasn't the contestant? His name is Xia Shangzhou, isn't it? I'll remember it. Lin Jie lowered his eyelids, concealing the gleam in his eyes. He paused for a few seconds before he turned to Xia Shangzhou and replied with an arrogant look on his face, because I think that it's beneath her to compete with those people. After saying those words, Lin Jie turned around and walked back to his seat, leaving Xia Shangzhou scratching his head in bewilderment. Wait a minute, the one who's good at running is little junior. Where did that "I'm the strongest king" expression come from? Barely after Lin Jie took 2 steps up the stairs, someone suddenly walked past him and asked, Where's Shi Yao? What would you like? Pulsation. Alright, I'll buy it and send it over to you later. Triao. Hearing those words, Lin Jie halted his footsteps and turned his head slightly to look behind him. It was Han Jing. He was hanging up the phone. On the other hand, his earlier call was asking about Shi Yao's whereabouts. So, if he wasn't calling Shi Yao, then he was calling Shi Yao's roommate? Maidong. He wants to buy a Maidong for Shi Yao? Lin Jiej stood on the spot for less than 2 seconds before he turned around and headed in the direction that Han Jing had left. Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou subconsciously called out, "Boss, where are you going?" "Boss." Seeing that she was still in a daze, he took out the ice cream from the bag and placed it on her fair face. Shi Yao shuddered at the sudden chill, and she abruptly raised her head. At the same time, her 3 roommates were also looking at Lin Jiej. In contrast to He Tiantian and Jiang Yu's agitated expressions, Leng Wan stood up calmly and moved away from Shi Yao's seat. Lin Jiej sat down and glanced ahead. Seeing that Han Jing was already walking over, he removed the packaging of the ice cream and waited for Han Jing to look in Shi Yao's direction before passing the ice cream into Shi Yao's hands. Lin Jiej could clearly see Han Jing's footsteps pausing on the spot. He was secretly delighted, but on the surface, he calmly took out the Maidong, twisted open the cap and passed it back to Shi Yao. Chapter 209. Shi Yao shot a glance at Lin Jiej and thanked him before taking the Maidong and hugging it tightly in her embrace. Even though Lin Jiej replied with a polite "you're welcome," he still inched his head closer to Shi Yao's ear. In the eyes of the onlookers, this action seemed extremely intimate, as if a couple was interacting with each other. Han Jing's face paled slightly. Looking at this sight, his fingers, which were holding onto the bag, couldn't help but tighten their grip. Taking in his reaction, Lin Jiej's lips curled up into a gentle smile as he stared at Shi Yao for a moment. Then, he stretched out his hand and lightly stroked Shi Yao's cheek. Why would he touch her for no reason? Shi Yao turned her head to look at Lin Jiej doubtfully. In the instant that Shi Yao turned her head around, Lin Jiej immediately tilted his head to the side, so that Han Jing wouldn't be able to see his expression. Then, he swiftly retracted the smile on his face. Meeting Shi Yao's gaze, Lin Jiej didn't wait for her to say anything before he forcefully said, "You got some ice cream on your face. I'm a germaphobe, so I couldn't stand it, so I reluctantly helped you." Shi Yao, who had just understood the situation, hadn't even thought of what to say when Lin Jiej added, "There's no need to thank me." Who should thank him? What a narcissistic young man. Besides, I got some ice cream on my face, so why wouldn't he tell me about it? What do you mean by I'm a germaphobe, so I can't stand it? Did I ask him to stand it? If you can't stand it, then don't look at it. If he hadn't thrown the trash to her, she would surely have chased him away. Shi Yao vented her frustrations on the ice cream, so she lowered her head and took a huge bite out of it. When Shi Yao retracted her gaze, Lin Jiej's lips curled into a smile once more. Then he casually turned his head around to look at where Han Jing was standing. Han Jing had already lowered his head, so he didn't approach Shi Yao anymore. Instead, he stood on the spot for a moment before turning around to leave. After staring at his back for 2 seconds, Lin Jiej said, "I'm leaving." After Shi Yao nodded her head in farewell, he stood up and walked away under the gazes of quite a few ladies. Han Jing walked very slowly, so it didn't take Lin Jiej long to catch up to him. Before overtaking Han Jing, Lin Jiej tilted his head to the side and slowed down his footsteps. He whipped out his phone, and without making any calls, he raised it to his ear and said, "Yao, there's something that I forgot to tell you. Wait for me after the sports meet ends the day after tomorrow. Grandfather says that he wants to meet you." Lin Jiej noticed that Han Jing's footsteps had clearly paused for a moment. He pretended not to see Han Jing and continued to walk forward as he continued to talk on the phone. When he passed by Han Jing, he saw Han Jing's slightly pursed lips and his words became even more immersed in his acting. Okay, I'll give you a call when the time comes. The ice cream is a little cold, so don't eat too much or you'll have a stomachache." By the time Lin Jiej returned to his classroom in high spirits, Xia Shangzhou was listening to a song, and Lu Benlai was still looking around with a pair of binoculars. "Xia Shangzhou, boss, where did you go earlier?" "Lu Benlai. Why did you leave in such a hurry? Did you go to the toilet? Didn't I say that the spicy hot pot from lunch was too spicy? You'll have diarrhea." Didn't he need to rack his brain to come up with an excuse? Lin Jie shrugged his shoulders. Without saying a word, he lazily sat down on his seat, put his headphones back on, and continued watching the game. Chapter 210. Xia Shangzhou dusted off the dirt on his trousers as he asked, "Boss, what are we eating tonight?" Lu Benlai, "I feel like eating rice noodles." Lin Jie calmly stood up and tidied up his clothes before interrupting Lu Benlai's words. "I've already prepared dinner. It's in the dormitory." Xia Shangzhou, "Daddy is daddy, you're getting more and more considerate." Lu Benlai, "Daddy Salangheya." Faced with the two fellows fawning, Lin Jie's lips twitched, but he didn't say a word. With his hands in his pockets, he began making his way back to his dormitory. Xia Shangzhou ran the fastest. He rushed to the door of the dormitory, took out his key and sang, "Dinner, dinner, I love you, I'm starving if I miss a meal, I'm starving," as he opened the door. Then, he took a step into the dormitory, and as if someone had hit his acupoints, he froze on the spot. "What are you doing? Blocking the door? Are you trying to be a door god?" Lu Benlai followed closely behind. He kicked Xia Shangzhou's bottom, but when he saw the sight before him, he froze on the spot. Roughly 10 seconds later, Lin Jie leisurely walked into the dormitory room. When he passed by Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou, the two of them finally recovered from their daze. Xia Shangzhou, "Boss, do you sell Maidong wholesale?" Lu Benlai, "Or are you going to give me a big gift, as many Maidongs as you buy? Don't tell me it's a beautiful woman?" Without saying a word, Lin Jie grabbed a bottle of Maidong, pulled out a chair and sat down. After which, he twisted open the cap and leisurely took a sip. Noticing that Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai's hands were empty, he gestured with his chin toward the pulse that was piled up all over the balcony, blocking even the windows. Leisurely, he said, "What are you waiting for? Aren't we going to have dinner? Eat. Eat, eat, eat." Lu Benlai widened his eyes in shock. "Boss, are you saying that dinner is Maidong?" Lin Jie nodded before taking another sip of Maidong. "Xia Shangzhou, boss, you can't eat Maidong as a meal, right? Even if it can be eaten, there's no need to buy so much, right? Is there a lot of them?" Lin Jie turned around to look at the towering wall of pulsing dong behind him. "It's still all right." "What do you mean it's okay? If he drank 1 bottle a day, he would be able to drink for at least 2 years, right?" Lu Benlai was just about to speak up when Lin Jie, who had just taken another mouthful of Maidong, spoke up. "When you finish this Maidong, we'll be able to have a feast. I've already calculated it. This month we won't be buying water in our dorm. We'll be buying Maidong." As he spoke, Lin Jie turned to Lu Benlai, who had been washing his face with mineral water, and said, "I don't mind you washing your face with Maidong. Bathing is fine too. And you too." Lin Jie turned his gaze to Xia Shangzhou, who would always eat instant noodles every night because he was hungry. "I don't mind if you eat pulsing instant noodles too. You might just be able to create an instant noodle that goes viral. Good luck." Under the gazes of the trembling Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou, Lin Jie raised his head and gulped down the remaining bottle of Maidong. There was nothing he could do about it. Soft Bun was the one who wanted to drink the Maidong, so he was the only one who could buy it for her. Putting aside the fact that he couldn't allow Han Jing's pulse kinetic energy to fall into Soft Bun's hands, he wouldn't even allow her to buy the pulse kinetic energy. Shi Yao's 10 kilometers marathon and interview records had caused a huge uproar in the field. As such, not long after the first day of the sports meet ended, the entire school forum was flooded with Shi Yao's post. Ji University was a prestigious school, and the one thing it didn't lack the most was talents. Jiang Yu nodded vigorously. Then she turned to Shi Yao and asked, "Oh, do you feel happy?" Shi Yao didn't try to hide anything, so she replied frankly, "Of course I do." Then, the second after she said that, she seemed to have thought of something and looked at her 3 roommates happily. "I've thought about it. I want yogurt tomorrow morning, milk tea tomorrow afternoon, and potato chips tomorrow night." He 111 Yao to Yao 12 6 11131111 Ling 113 Ling 11. Seeing that the 3 of them weren't saying a word, Shi Yao asked anxiously, It can't be that you intend to renege on your debt, right? Yao teacher 3-1. 1-2. 1 Yao 2 student. 2-4 in that 2-2-2. Chapter 212. Ever since he had publicly wished her a happy birthday and confessed to her on her birthday, she had purposely kept her distance from him. He seemed to have sensed it too, so after asking her out once or twice, he changed his tactics and started to approach her from He Tian. Initially, He Tian would say that it was Han Jing who was treating her to a meal, but perhaps due to her constant rejection, Han Jing told her not to mention his name. It was fortunate that He Tian didn't do as he said and told her everything honestly. In truth, Shi Yao had been thinking of finding a time to chat with Han Jing for the past few days, but due to the sports meet, she hadn't had the time to do so. Now that he was calling her, since that was the case, she might as well do it now. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao walked out of the dormitory room with her phone in hand and found a secluded corner to answer Han Jing's call. Senior Han? Shi Yao. Han Jing's voice sounded a little disappointed. After calling her name, it took him a long while before he asked, "Are you together with Lin Jiej?" Shi Yao was perplexed as to why he would have such thoughts, but she didn't ask. Besides, why would she be together with Lin Jiej? Once Grandpa Lin recovered, they wouldn't even have a child's betrothal anymore. Shi Yao didn't talk too much about Lin Jiej, replying simply, "No." Han Jing. Really? Really? Shi Yao paused for a moment. She knew what Han Jing was going to say, but before he could say anything, she spoke up. "Senior Han, the reason why I picked up your call is to tell you that I understand your feelings for me, but I'm sorry, I can't accept it. Back then, when we were eating fish at the fish restaurant, I rejected you. I thought that was the end of it, but I realized later on that you didn't think the same way. Senior Han, I don't want to hurt you, but I don't want to leave you hanging either. That's an extremely shameless act. So, I just want to tell you that we should just treat each other as strangers from now on. It's best if we don't contact each other. Senior Han. Thank you for being my friend in the past." Shi Yao paused for a moment before saying goodbye and hanging up the call. It was just as she had said. If he hadn't given up on her, she wouldn't have gotten together with him, so it was best if she didn't continue pestering him. After all, it would only hurt him more and more. At the same time, in room 501 of the male dormitory, after browsing through all of the posts related to Shi Yao on the school forum, Lu Benlai gulped down a mouthful of my dong in astonishment to calm himself down before saying, "Little Junior is actually that formidable?" The equally astonished Xia Shangzhou also gulped down a mouthful of my dong before slowly turning his head to look at Lin Jiej and exclaiming, "Boss, you've picked up a treasure." Staring at Shi Yao's post on his computer screen, Lin Jiej's eyebrows shot up proudly. Lu Benlai also turned around to look at Lin Jiej and asked, "Boss, did you get involved with Little Junior because you knew that she was so formidable? Does he think that he can predict the future?" Lin Jiej was just about to refute Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou when the words reached the tip of his tongue. 3 seconds later, he slowly turned his head around to look at Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou, who were still waiting for his answer. With an impassive voice, he said, "All roads lead to Rome, and I was born in Rome. In other words, you have to search far and wide before you can find a treasure like soft bun. But I was born with a treasure like soft bun." Chapter 213. Are we sending ourselves to our boss's doorstep? Xia Shangzhou glared at the instigating Lu Benlai resentfully and said, "You're the one with the cheap mouth." Lu Benlai raised his hand and pointed to his mouth. "That's right. Who asked you to be so cheap?" Hearing Xia Shangzhou's words, Lin Jiej turned his gaze back to the photo of Shi Yao, receiving her prize in the 10-kilometer sprint on the computer screen. While clicking on the mouse, he spoke with an infuriating tone. "However, there are some people who might not be able to find a treasure even if they walk down all the roads leading to Rome, just like." Lin Jiej glanced at Xia Shangzhou and said, "The goddess you met is my treasure." Then, he glanced at Lu Benlai and said, "And the goddess you met doesn't even care about you." Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai were rendered speechless for 10 seconds. 10 seconds later, Lu Benlai turned to Xia Shangzhou, who had spoken up first, and said, "You talk too much." Xia Shangzhou slapped his mouth lightly and replied, "Will you die if you don't talk too much?" On the morning of the second day of the sports meet, He Tiantian's long jump competition was scheduled. It was 11 in the morning. As everyone had arrived at the field at 8 in the morning, the water they had brought with them was long gone. Thus, before the competition started, He Tiantian asked Shi Yao, Jiangyu, and Leng Wan to help her buy a bottle of water so that they could rehydrate after the competition. After He Tiantian entered the field, the three girls stood up and headed to the school supermarket. As their class was located at the inner end of the field, it would take them some time to get out of the field. As they passed by the rostrum, the staff of the student council happened to announce the name list for the men's 3 kilometers race. The first name was Lin Jiej. As soon as his name was announced, cheers immediately sounded from the field. "Ow, did you hear that? Lin Jiej is going to be competing in the 3 kilometers race later. Let's hurry up and buy some water so that we can watch him compete later," Jiang Yu said as she tugged Shi Yao's arm and hastened her pace. After entering the school supermarket, Shi Yao first chose He Tiantian's favorite Red Bull before grabbing a bottle of Scream for herself. While Jiang Yu and Leng Wan were choosing their drinks, Shi Yao casually grabbed a bag of hawthorn and a bag of jelly from the shelf by the side. While paying the bill, Jiang Yu suddenly thought of something and asked, "Oh, aren't you going to bring a bottle of water for Lin Jiej?" Shi Yao shot a doubtful glance at Jiang Yu. Why did she bring water for Lin Jiej? Noticing Luo Ruoxin's bewilderment, Jiang Yu added, "Lin Jiej is going to run 3,000 meters later, so he'll definitely need to drink some water. Can you bring him a bottle?" He should have prepared the water himself, or perhaps one of his roommates would have prepared it for him. But then again, it didn't seem like it was a big deal for him to bring a bottle of water with him. After all, he had protected her during Qin Iran's incident on her birthday, and he had even given her so much trash. Shi Yao pondered for a moment before replying, "All right then." Then, she stood before the row of drinks and hesitated for a moment. In the end, as she didn't know what Lin Jiej liked to drink, she decided to just grab a bottle of Scream that was identical to hers. Returning to the field, the runners for the men's 3 kilometers race that Lin Jiej was participating in were already in position. Amidst the row of males, Lin Jiej stood out from the rest. Most of the males around him were doing their warm-up exercises, but he was the only one standing lazily on the spot, as if a painting. Chapter 2:14. The preparatory whistle was blown, and all of the contestants bent their bodies, preparing to run. Only Lin Jiej slowly took off his earphones and tossed his phone over to a male student by the side. Shi Yao had some impression of that male student. They had attended a physical education class together, and he was dressed in a flamboyant yellow sportswear. He had asked Leng Wan for her phone number, and he even drank a pink milkshake. His name was rather interesting. If she recalled correctly, he was called Lu Binlai. Perhaps it was due to the impending start of the tournament, but Lin Jiej's face was still the same as before. His eyes were calm, and he didn't reveal too much emotion. His leisurely expression made it seem as if he wasn't here to participate in the tournament but to aid his digestion. As if he had grasped the timing perfectly, the moment he bent down and placed his hands on the ground, the gunshot sounded, signifying the start of the race. Then, like arrows released from a bow, a row of male students dashed forward along the track. Some of them were cheering for their classmates and some of them were cheering for their good friends. However, the one that was cheered the most was Lin Jiej. "You can do it." Lin Jiej was dressed in a white sportswear, making him easy to spot on the green track. His speed was incredible, and it didn't take long for him to widen the gap between him and the second-place runner. 3,000 meters wasn't too long, but it wasn't too short either. It was a test of both endurance and speed, but Lin Jiej didn't seem to feel any pressure or strain from participating in a race at all. In fact, he looked so relaxed that it was almost as if he was completing a simple what's 1 + 1 math problem. Due to the huge disparity in their strength, there was no doubt who would emerge as the first place. When Lin Jiej finished his final lap, Jiang Yu held Shi Yao's arm and walked toward the finish line. There were already many people gathered there, and most of them were females. Many of them were dressed in very short skirts, revealing their fair legs. They had light makeup on their faces, and every single one of them looked extremely beautiful. Even Qin Iran was among them. Even though Lin Jiej's first place was already set in stone, the instant he crossed the finish line, there were still many female students screaming and cheering. A second after he stopped, a bold female student walked up to him with a glass of water in her hand and said, "Lin Jiej, you must be thirsty after running 3,000 meters, right? I'll give it to you." Perhaps it was due to the first female student taking the lead. The other female students also began passing their cups of water to Lin Jiej. He seemed to be used to this kind of scene. As if he hadn't heard anything, he passed through the girls and walked out. Upon seeing this sight, Shi Yao abruptly halted her footsteps before reaching the end. He didn't lack people to give him water, so there was no need for her to join in the fun. Besides, he didn't take any of the water from the girls. What if he didn't take it even if she went over to him? Not to mention, Qin Iran was right beside him. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao tugged on Zhang Yu's sleeve, intending to tell her to leave. However, before she could do anything, Zhang Yu had already spoken up upon seeing Qin Iran. Senior Lin Jiej, who hadn't reached Lu Benlai yet, heard the commotion, and he turned his head slightly. However, upon seeing Shi Yao, he immediately halted his footsteps. Chapter 2:15. Following Zhang Yu's words, Lin Jiej's gaze fell from Shi Yao's face to her hands. She was holding an open bottle of Scream in one hand and a red plastic bag in the other. A few seconds later, Lin Jiej's gaze returned to Shi Yao's face once more. Meeting Lin Jiej's gaze, Shi Yao's fingers subconsciously tightened around the plastic bag in her hand. Due to Zhang Yu's words, the female students who were waiting at the finish line to pass Lin Jiej a bottle of water all turned their gazes toward Shi Yao. At this moment, Shi Yao was caught in a dilemma. She couldn't turn around and walk away, but she couldn't walk forward either. Just as Shi Yao was conflicted over how she should face this predicament, Lin Jiej began walking toward her. There wasn't much distance between the two of them, so it didn't take long for him to stand right in front of her. Shi Yao instinctively took a small step back to put some distance between them. But at this point, she had no choice but to pass the bottle of water to him. But before she could raise her hand, Lin Jiej noticed from the corner of his eye that Zhang Yu, who was standing beside Shi Yao, was gleefully looking in a certain direction. Out of pure curiosity, he followed Zhang Yu's line of sight and saw that Qin Yi was staring at him and Shi Yao. His eyes immediately turned cold, and before Shi Yao could say anything, he had already snatched the bottle of Scream from her hand. He had never seen such a shameless person before. Back then, she had gathered a group of people to fight outside the academy, and that had caused quite a scene. How could she still have the cheek to show off in front of him? But since she wanted to show off, he would just have to drink from Soft Bun's bottle. This way, she would think that he had a close relationship with Soft Bun so as to provoke her. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej unscrewed the bottle cap, brought it to his lips and gulped it down. His actions were simply too fast. So fast that Shi Yao didn't even have a chance to stop him. She could only watch helplessly as he gulped down more than half of the bottle she had just drunk. When he finally stopped, Shi Yao took out the bottle of Scream and passed it over to Lin Jiej, saying, "This is yours." Shi Yao thought that since Lin Jiej had already drunk her bottle of Scream, it was unlikely that he would drink this unopened bottle. Unexpectedly, right after she said those words, Lin Jiej replied with an "oh." Without any hesitation, he reached out to take the unopened bottle of Scream from her fingers and thanked her. After which, he returned the bottle of Scream, which only had a third of its contents left, back to her. The water had already been delivered, but Shi Yao really didn't like the sight of so many people watching from the side. So she simply said, "My roommate is in the midst of a match, so I'll head over to take a look," before pulling Zhang Yu away. After she left, Lin Jiej unscrewed the cap of the bottle of Scream and took a huge gulp. "I really don't like the taste of this drink." With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej brought Scream to his lips and drank another mouthful. This bottle doesn't seem to be as good as the one Soft Bun drank from earlier. Since he drank from Soft Bun's drink, could this be considered as an indirect kiss? Lin Jiej took another mouthful of Scream, and as he walked over to Lu Benlai, He happened to see Qin Yiran from the corner of his eye. She was biting her lower lip tightly, seemingly agitated by his earlier actions, and her chest was heaving up and down slightly. Chapter 216. That afternoon, Shi Yao's roommates didn't have any events to participate in, but due to the fact that they were all Year 1 students, the teachers were rather strict with them. Thus, they didn't dare to come to the field to spectate like the Year 3 and Year 4 students. Tian and Jiang Yu didn't have enough rest in the dormitory, so when they arrived at the field, they covered their heads with their clothes and continued sleeping. Leng Wan was still reading the book she hadn't finished last night. Shi Yao supported her chin with her hand and watched the match for a while. Seeing that there wasn't much to see, she took out her phone and logged into the game. During the day, the members of the Sexy and Frisky group rarely played, so when Shi Yao saw that less than 111,111 was online, she was surprised for a second. Less than 111,111 had been in the game for 27 minutes. Shi Yao had no idea when he would be done, so she decided to go and play around by herself. However, a second after she returned to the main hall and was just about to select the map mode to proceed with the game, less than 111,111 suddenly popped up on her screen, inviting her to play with him. Shi Yao didn't reject his invitation and accepted it. She didn't bring her earphones, and the sports meet was extremely noisy. Thus, after entering the main hall, she chose to type a message. "Why are you online this afternoon?" Less than 111,111 replied with two numbers, 56. Shi Yao, who really couldn't understand what 56 meant, typed a question mark. Then, looking at the screen, Shi Yao thought that she had been led astray by Mr. Numbers. She was starting to use symbols to represent nonsense, so she couldn't be bothered to type anymore. Thus, she tapped on the screen and asked, "What does 56 mean?" After successfully entering the game and boarding the plane, less than 111,111's message appeared on the screen. Boring. 56. Boring. That does seem a little similar. Mr. Numbers isn't just able to use punctuation to express his words. He's even able to use numbers to express them. As expected of Mr. Numbers, while Shi Yao was deep in thought, less than 111,111 landed on the ground and began picking up the equipment. Just like the previous duos, there weren't many people around. Even though the field was so noisy that Shi Yao couldn't hear the sound of the game, she still had a lot of fun picking up the equipment. 3 rounds in a row, Mr. Numbers successfully carried her to the chicken dinner. In the 4th round, 5 minutes into the game, Mr. Numbers suddenly hid in his room, not moving at all. Even when the blue circle appeared, he had to type a message and have Shi Yao drive him out of the blue circle. Shi Yao knew how to drive, but her driving skills weren't up to par. By the time she and Mr. Numbers entered the safe zone, the two of them had already been reduced to low health due to her valiant driving skills. After finding a place to hide, Shi Yao began recuperating. When she was fully healed, she realized that 111,111's HP was still low. She couldn't help but type a few question marks. Seeing that he didn't reply, she started typing. "You fell." Before she could finish what she wanted to say, she saw a small microphone light up next to the name, 111,111. This meant that he was speaking through voice chat. "Does he have something to say to me?" Shi Yao hurriedly brought the phone to her ear, but other than some chaotic noises, she couldn't hear 111,111's voice at all. Thus, she switched on the voice chat function and brought the phone to her lips. "What did you just say? I didn't hear you clearly." Shortly after Shi Yao said those words, the radio station began broadcasting again. Next up is the men's 100-meter sprint. The participant list includes Lin Jie, Zhang Yang. Afraid that she might miss 111,111's words, she hurriedly brought the phone to her ear, and the same words came from the other end. Next up is the men's 100-meter sprint. The participant list includes Lin Jie, Zhang Yang. Chapter 217. Shi Yao froze with her phone pressed to her ear in a daze. Sun Haiyang Hao Yu Luo Juan Hao Wang Angsho Gao Lang. The speaker continued to announce the name list. Just like before, as the list of names was broadcasted, the same names came through the earpiece. As the name list grew, Shi Yao's grip on her phone couldn't help but tighten. Why was she able to hear the words she could hear in real life as well? The students listed above, please prepare to enter the field. When those words traveled into Shi Yao's ears one after another, her fingers, which were holding onto her phone, began to tremble slightly. It can't be such a coincidence, right? 111,111 is actually from the same university as me? Furthermore, they're both standing in the same field at the moment? As this thought flashed across Shi Yao's mind, she instinctively raised her head and scanned her surroundings. Amidst the sea of people, one of them was 111,111. In other words, there was also expert of the monkeys. And there was also just Shi Yao felt that this was simply too inconceivable. She felt as if the entire world had become a fantasy. Just how great of a fate did it take for her to be matched with a random teammate during her first game turn out to be her schoolmate? The voice of the speaker sounded from the podium once more. Next up is the men's 100-meter sprint. The name list consists of Lin Jie Zhang Yang, Sun Haiyang Hao Yu Luo Juan Hao Wang Angsho Gao Lang. Hearing this voice, Shi Yao lowered her head to look at her phone screen. 111,111's name was followed by the voice of the small microphone. So, it wasn't necessarily 111,111 who was speaking earlier. It was the voice of the field that had been transmitted into his phone. Shi Yao was still in a daze. She stared at her phone for a long while before she raised it to her lips and said, "You." However, she only managed to utter a single word before she paused. She didn't know what to say next. Around 5 seconds later, 111,111's voice sounded from the other side of the phone. "What's wrong?" Along with his voice, the voice of the speaker from the podium also sounded. Perhaps just like her, Mr. Numbers had listened to the voice chat in the game, but he only spoke 2 words before coming to a halt. However, he reacted faster than her. Not long after, he spoke again with obvious surprise and amazement in his voice. "You are from G University?" Shi Yao replied in a daze. A moment later, as if she was sleepwalking, she asked, "You're from G University too?" 111,111. "Yes. I'm in my 3rd year. Yao loves ice cream." "What a coincidence." 111,111. "What a coincidence." Shi Yao didn't know what to say anymore. And both she and Mr. Numbers fell silent. The voice of the broadcast continued to come out from the 2 earpieces. After some time, 111,111 spoke again. "What about you?" Shi Yao was a little taken aback. "HM?" After a while, she replied, "I'm a freshman in the English faculty." "What about you?" "Math faculty." 111,111 replied bluntly. After which he added, "I'm going to compete soon. Talk to you later." Chapter 218. Math faculty. What a coincidence, he's in the same major as Lin Jie, and they're both in year 3 too. Could they be classmates? Furthermore, before he left, he mentioned that he was going to compete in a competition. There were men's 100-meter sprint, men's 400-meter relay, shot put, and long jump. Which competition was Mr. Numbers participating in? Shi Yao, who wasn't interested in the competition in the first place, put away her phone and stared at the competitors on the field. There are so many men here, just which one is Mr. Numbers? Since Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai weren't competing in the afternoon, the 2 of them went out to have fun together. Lin Jie's competition was at 4 o'clock, so he rubbed his glabella, which was swollen from staring at his laptop for too long. Then he picked up his phone and logged into the game to pass the time. After getting chicken dinner after chicken dinner, bored out of his mind, he decided to quit the game at the end of the 4th round. However, he noticed that Yao Loves Ice Cream was online, so he thought that bringing along a burden might make the game a little more interesting, so he clicked on the invite button. Shortly after the 4th round began, he received a call from his classmate, reminding him that the men's 100-meter sprint was about to begin. Thus, he could only hide in his room and change into his sportswear. While instructing Yao Loves Ice Cream to take him away from the blue circle, he made his way to the field. Her driving skills were truly unfathomable. Even on a flat road she could overturn her car. And if that wasn't enough, why would she choose to take the rugged mountain road instead? It wasn't easy for him to make it into the safe zone. While celebrating the fact that he hadn't been murdered by her, he made his way to the field where his classmate was seated. It was only when he sat down that he realized that there was a small microphone flashing behind her profile picture. Is she talking to me? He took out his earphones and stuffed them into his ears. But as soon as he said what's wrong, he realized that something was amiss. So he chatted with her for a while. Since the 100-meter sprint was about to begin, he had no choice but to quit the game. While he was standing on the track, he recalled the reply that Yao Loves Ice Cream had given him Year 1 English faculty. Big White Chubby and Soft Bun are actually in the same year, and they're both studying English as well. Could they be classmates? But Big White Chubby and Soft Bun are both huge eaters, and there are quite a few similarities between them. Could they be the same person? But if it was true, then wouldn't it be too miraculous? This wasn't a TV series. In terms of probability, this was an event with an extremely low probability. Not to mention Big White Chubby was a fair and round fatty. Perhaps she might even be 3 times as fat as Soft Bun. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej couldn't help but look around him. Finding a Big White Chubby was as difficult as finding a needle in a haystack. More importantly, there were a lot of overweight girls in G University. On the morning of the 3rd day of the sports meet, it was Shi Yao's high jump match and Lung Wan's swimming match. To Shi Yao, high jump was a walk in the park. It was her forte, so on the 2nd night of the sports meet, she accompanied Lung Wan to the school's swimming pool to practice swimming. Shi Yao hadn't brought her phone with her when she went to the swimming pool, so by the time she returned, there were already 99+ messages on her WeChat. Only 3 of the messages were from his classmates. The remaining 99+ messages were from the Sexy and Frisky group. Chapter 219. Shi Yao scrolled back to the top of the list of unread messages, and the first one she saw was a message from Expert of the Monkeys. Sis Yao beep beep beep. Expert of the Monkeys. Yao Loves Ice Cream. Expert of the Monkeys. Sis Yao beep beep beep. Time to play. Juice. Sis Yao doesn't seem to be around. Shall we play for a while then? An hour and 40 minutes later, there were no more messages in the group chat. Expert of the Monkeys. Boring, I'm not playing anymore. No wonder people say that playing games with one's grandson is the most tiring thing in life. Juice. Grandson, why are you always talking about seniority? Expert of the Monkeys. Scram, I'm the grandfather here. The 2 of them argued in the group for a whole 10 minutes before they finally switched to a new topic. Juice. Our boss said that we'll only have a feast after we finish all the food in the dormitory room. Let's have a drinking match with a dice toss. Do you dare? Expert of the Monkeys. Bring it on. Who's afraid of who? The rest of the messages were all about Juice and Expert's dice tossing. Shi Yao scrolled all the way to the end, and when she took a look at the time, she realized that the 2 of them had been throwing dice for almost 2 hours. Every few seconds they would throw a dice toss. By now they had probably thrown the dice more than 1,000 times. In other words, the 2 of them had drunk at least 1,000 cups of wine. And they still weren't drunk? Shi Yao couldn't help but bubble up. Yao Loves Ice Cream. Are the 2 of you the legendary never drunk despite drinking 1,000 cups? Juice. What are you talking about? This little bit of wine isn't even enough to fill the gaps between our teeth. Expert of the Monkeys. Sis Yao, it's not that I'm bragging, but we might not be the best in other fields, but when it comes to drinking, no one can beat us. This seemed to be the first time that Expert and Juice had addressed each other as we so harmoniously, and there wasn't any verbal abuse between them. With this thought in mind, Shi Yao typed on the keyboard. Impressive. Juice. You're being too polite. Expert of the Monkeys. You're overpraising me. 111,111 sent a picture of a bunch of my dongs, and a second later, less than 111,111 sent another message. There was only a single 9. Even though his words were concise, Everyone in the group understood what he was trying to say. What he meant was that my dong was what Monkey and Juice called wine. Even through the phone, Sure Yao could hear the sounds of Mr. Numbers slapping Expert and Juice's faces. The group was silent for about 10 seconds before Juice sent a cheeky smiley face. Hey, I'm just joking. I'm a good student. Why would a good student have a drinking competition in the dormitory? Expert of the monkeys. Sis Yao, let me tell you something. Not only do I not touch alcohol, I don't smoke and I don't gamble either. I'm the legendary 3 good students. 111111 sent another photo. It was a box of cigarettes and a lighter. Sure Yao couldn't help but burst into laughter. Mr. Numbers was truly a professional at tearing down others. But what she was most concerned about was still that mountain-like pull. Sure Yao replied with a question that she was curious about. Why did you buy so many my dong? Juice? Boss bought it. Yao loves ice cream. Sent an embarrassed emoji. Is this how tycoons buy things? Expert of the monkeys. That's not it. The reason why our boss bought so many is because of my goddess. As soon as Sure Yao saw Expert's message, he retracted it and sent a new message. Chapter 220. Sure Yao knew that Expert and Juice often called Mr. Numbers daddy as a joke. But what in the world did Expert mean by my mom? Yao loves ice cream, my mom. Yao loves ice cream. What do you mean? Juice. She's a girl. Expert of the monkeys, boss woman. A girl boss woman. Does this mean that Mr. Numbers has a girlfriend? Without thinking too much into it, Sure Yao typed out a line of words and sent it over. What, do you mean that your boss is finally no longer single and is no longer a 10,000-year-old virgin? Has he finally met his Yin Jiping? Congratulations. Sprinkle some flowers, sprinkle some flowers. Half a minute after Sure Yao sent her message, there was still no response. Was it because her internet connection wasn't good enough? Sure Yao switched from Wi-Fi to 4G. But seeing that there was still no response, she typed out a question mark. Number. Just as she was about to send it over, Sure Yao suddenly realized that less than 111,111 was in the group. A line of exclamation marks flashed across Sure Yao's eyes, and without any hesitation, she withdrew the message. Then, she frantically found a random emoji and started spamming furiously, in an attempt to cover up her earlier indiscreet actions. Just when Sure Yao felt that she was done spamming furiously, she suddenly stopped. She shook her aching wrist, and just as she was about to heave a sigh of relief, a new message suddenly appeared on her screen. It was a message from less than 111,111. It was an emoji with a single sentence written on it. The other party rejected your kiss. Sure Yao frowned in confusion. It was only then that she realized that the emoji she had been spamming earlier was kiss, 03. Sure Yao awkwardly thought for a second, and she was just about to reply with, I clicked on the wrong picture. But before she could even type out those words, her phone suddenly vibrated in her hand. Another message had arrived. Less than 111,111 wa. Do you mean that your boss is finally no longer single and is no longer a 10,000-year-old virgin? Has he finally met his Yin Jiping? Congratulations. Sprinkle some flowers, sprinkle some flowers. Sure Yao's hand trembled and she nearly dropped her phone. That was the message she had just sent, and Mr. Numbers had actually memorized it word for word. Sure Yao sent fearful emoji for a moment before replying with an innocent emoji. I'm just joking. I'm just trying to lighten the mood. Less than 111,111. Yao loves ice cream's weight has finally exceeded 100 Jean. Her thighs are so thick that they're almost catching up to the waists of other girls her age. Congratulations. Let's scatter some flowers. Roughly a minute later, Mr. Numbers retracted the message, and another message from him popped up on the screen. It was a smiley emoticon that made one feel like punching it in the face, followed by a line of words. What a coincidence. I was just joking around to lighten the mood. Chapter 221. On the morning of the third day of the sports meet, Sure Yao was woken up by a phone call. She opened her eyes in a daze and took a look at the caller ID. Then she immediately jolted awake. It was a call from Liang Mumu, whom she hadn't been in contact with for some time now. Shi Yao stared at the word Mumu on the screen, and her eyes flickered for a moment before she swiped the screen and answered the call. Mumu. Shi Yao had only just called out Liang Mumu's name when Liang Mumu's cheerful voice sounded from the other end. Now, do you not have to go to school tomorrow after the sports meet? Liang Mumu, that's great. Darling, I'll pick you up from school at around 6 or 7 in the afternoon. Let's go out and have some fun. Shi Yao was silent for 2 seconds. Just as she was about to speak, Liang Mumu spoke up once more. Yao, it's been a long time since we last met. Don't you miss me? I've missed you so much, my dear. Let me tell you, I have a friend who opened a new bar in Sanlitun. It's free to go there now, and we can also go there tonight to support the bar. Seeing that Shi Yao hadn't agreed yet, Liang Mumu began to act coquettishly on the other end of the phone. Won't you agree to it? Don't you love me anymore? Shi Yao lowered her eyelids and replied gently, all right then, I'll see you tonight. Liang Mumu, who had been complaining a moment ago, immediately reverted to the cheerful tone she had when she first picked up the phone. I knew it. Yao, you can't bear to leave me behind. What do you want to eat tonight? Cantonese, Japanese, hot pot, Western. Why don't I pick a few restaurants and send them to you for you to choose from? Shi Yao wanted to say you decide, but just as the words were about to come out of her mouth, she hesitated for a moment. Then, just like before, she obediently said ? Okay, I'll give you a call when I'm about to reach your school. I still have some matters to attend to later, so I'll have to talk to you later. Bye-bye, darling Yamwamwa. Liang Mumu said a long sentence in a single breath, and before Shi Yao could respond, she had already hung up the call. Shi Yao took a look at the time. It was only 6:30 am. She hadn't had enough sleep yet, but due to Liang Mumu's call, she found herself unable to fall asleep. She put down her phone and stared at the ceiling thoughtfully for a while. Finally, seeing that she really didn't feel sleepy, she climbed out of bed to wash up. At 8 o'clock, Shi Yao and her 3 roommates headed to the canteen. After breakfast, they headed straight to the field. It didn't take long before it was Shi Yao's turn to participate in the high jump competition. Due to Shi Yao's astonishing 10-kilometer sprint on the first day of the sports meet, her high jump competition attracted quite a few spectators. To Shi Yao, the high jump was truly her forte, so she didn't let the crowd down. She easily clinched first place in the women's high jump competition. Especially in the process of her competition, she did not make any unnecessary movements. She ran up, leaped, drew a beautiful arc in the air, and landed firmly on the sponge mat. That series of movements was not inferior to a sports specialty student at all. Chapter 222. Actually, the first thing that was discussed on the school forum was Shi Yao's interview after she clinched first place in the high jump competition. The first question that the reporters asked Shi Yao was, I didn't expect student Shi Yao to be able to run and jump so well. I wonder, did you think that you would be able to clinch the championship before the high jump competition? Shi Yao replied, the high jump is my forte. I was able to clinch first place in the 10,000 m sprint, so there's no doubt that I'll be able to clinch this one. Just like the first interview, the reporter fell silent for a few seconds before asking the same question that would be asked every time a champion was interviewed. How do you feel about clinching the championship this time? Shi Yao pointed to the blazing sun in the sky and replied honestly, the sun is so hot that I feel like I'm turning into duck blood curd. Shi Yao had clinched the championship twice, and both interviews had been included in the G University Sports Meets Classic Quotes. However, the topic regarding Shi Yao's interview ended up deviating from the main topic. Someone mentioned Lin Jiej, and it was said that he was also in existence who often talked about classic quotes. During Lin Jiej's first year at G University, he had introduced himself to the class as, my name is Lin Jiej, and I'm this year's Beijing College Entrance Examination champion. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me, but I won't answer them. During the school anniversary event, Lin Jiej had said to Qin Yuran, I've confirmed your gaze. You're someone I don't want to talk to. During a mathematics competition, Lin Jiej, as a student of Ji University, had responded to a cheater sent by a certain school by saying, "I'm not a good person, but you're a scum." Then, starting from the topic of classic quotes, the school forum began to compare Shi Yao and Lin Jiej's classic quotes. Eventually, someone with something on his mind created a thread titled, "Shi Yao PK Lin Jiej." From their academic results to their college entrance examination results, to their achievements in school, to their sports meet results, and finally to their daily affairs. Even the scene of them being confessed to was brought up for comparison. However, while Shi Yao was strong, she was still at a disadvantage when it came to Lin Jiej. In particular, there were two areas in which Lin Jiej crushed Shi Yao. The first was Lin Jiej's mathematics results. He scored full marks while Shi Yao barely passed. The second was Lin Jiej's estimated income from his university projects. It was an astonishing sum while Shi Yao's income from her university was zero. Ever since the incident with Qin Iran, Xia Shangzhou had been engrossed in browsing the school forum whenever he was bored. As such, when he saw the thread Shi Yao PK Lin Jiej, he immediately shared it with him. Lin Jiej was in the midst of composing an email on his laptop, and after he was done with his work, he finally opened up Xia Shangzhou's post. Shi Yao PK Lin Jiej. To think that it would be his and Softbun's names. Ji University's forum was getting more and more professional. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej took a look at the content. I actually crushed Softbun? But then again, given how formidable he was, it was only normal for Softbun to lose to him. But would Softbun be traumatized by such a tragic outcome? Lin Jiej stared at the forum page in deep thought for a moment before logging into the 123-4567 account he had registered back then. He added a new PK option. Shi Yao can eat, Lin Jiej can't. Chapter 223. Besides, she already had a duck egg, so he didn't mind being one-shot by her. Thus Lin Jiej changed it to, in the category of gluttony, Shi Yao 100 points, Lin Jiej 0 points. After successfully replying, Lin Jiej wanted to exit the forum, but after a moment of hesitation he added a new category. In the category of childbirth, Shi Yao 100 points, Lin Jiej 0 points. Even though he wasn't the one who gave birth to the child, it didn't mean that the child couldn't be born without him. Lin Jiej pondered for half a second before giving himself 60 points. After which, he clicked on the send button and exited the forum in satisfaction. Softbun had lost to him in 2 categories, and now that he had added 2 more, he lost to her in 2 categories. Softbun would surely be overjoyed to see this. Recalling Shi Yao's eyes curling up into a smile when she looked at the forum, Lin Jiej's lips curled up slightly before he returned to his work. He typed on the keyboard for a while before coming to a halt. In the category of childbirth, I gave myself 60 points. Isn't that a little too low? To be able to impregnate Softbun just once, that should be at least 99 points, right? Besides, childbirth wasn't something that only one person could do. Softbun wouldn't be able to give birth without him. After the sports meet ended, Shi Yao returned to her dormitory room and took a shower. After which, she opened a bottle of yogurt and a bag of fries before lying on her bed to enjoy the air conditioning. Out of boredom, Shi Yao heard from He Tian that she had been on the school forum once more. So she picked up her phone and started admiring her own gossip. The first part of the thread about Shi Yao PK Lin Jiej was still rather normal. After all, she was indeed no match for Lin Jiej. In this world, one had to be willing to concede defeat. However, after seeing the reply from 123-4567, Shi Yao found it hard to believe that the thread was normal anymore. 123-4567 was Lin Jiej's ID. After the Qin Iran incident, everyone on the forum knew of him. So when she saw the reply in the category of gluttony, Shi Yao 100 points, Lin Jiej 0 points, Shi Yao was still relatively calm. In fact, she even gave Lin Jiej a thumbs up in her heart. Who would have thought that someone as arrogant as him would still have some self-awareness? But 123-4567's reply in the category of childbirth, Shi Yao 100 points, Lin Jiej 60 points. What the heck was that? Since when could giving birth be used as a comparison? Furthermore, where did Lin Jiej find the courage to give himself 60 points? Did he think that he was a hermaphrodite and could have children? What left Shi Yao horrified wasn't Lin Jie's reply but the replies of the spectators on the forum. The Adonis Lin Jie is actually standing up for Shi Yao. Is he trying to pamper his wife? I understand that you're a foodie, but what do you mean by giving birth? Chapter 224. After watching around 4 matches, a message suddenly popped up on her phone. It was from Liang Mumu. Darling Yao, I'll be at your school in around 10 minutes. Get ready, I'll see you later. Shi Yao tapped on the message that popped up and replied, Sure. Liang Mumu immediately sent a whack emoji over. Instead of replying, Shi Yao returned to the video feed. 7 or 8 minutes had passed by the time he finished watching the game. After charging her phone, Shi Yao climbed down from her bed, opened her closet and changed into a set of clothes. After which, she checked her belongings to make sure that she hadn't left anything behind. After changing into her shoes, she left the dormitory room and headed for the school gates. By the time Shi Yao arrived at the entrance of the academy, Liang Mumu still hadn't arrived yet. The sun hadn't set yet, but the lingering heat from the setting sun was still a little warm. Thus, Shi Yao found a shady spot and waited patiently. Roughly half a minute later, Shi Yao finally decided to take out her phone. She tapped on the screen of her phone for a moment before she found Zhang Yu's number and gave her a call. She first told Zhang Yu that she was going out for dinner with her friends, and she wouldn't be joining them for dinner. After which, she fell silent for a moment before chatting with Zhang Yu about other matters. Just as they were about to finish their conversation, a red sports car suddenly stopped in front of her. The car window wound down, revealing Liang Mumu's meticulously drawn face. Bao, get in. After which, she turned to Zhang Yu and said, I'm hanging up. She put away her phone, opened the car door and got into the car. While he was fastening his seatbelt, Liang Mumu asked with a smile, Who are you talking to? Shi Yao. My roommates. Tell them that I won't be having dinner with them tonight. Liang Mumu held in response. As she started up the car, she asked, I went to Japan a while back so I didn't have the chance to hang out with you. Shi Yao, when did you go there? Liang Mumu, it was last week. It was the week of her birthday. When she accompanied Lin Jie to buy a present for Sis Jai. She had even met her at W shopping mall. Shi Yao didn't expose Liang Mumu's lie. Instead, she pursed her lips and asked, What did you buy in Japan? Did you bring anything delicious? I knew you'd ask about food. Liang Mumu pointed to an exquisite bag by Shi Yao's feet and said, Here, I brought it for you. It's delicious. Shi Yao was overjoyed. Her eyes crinkled into crescents as she said, Thank you. Then she picked up the bag and began eating. Looking at Shi Yao, who was stuffing food into her mouth, Liang Mumu asked once more, What have you been busy with while I was in Japan? I'm not busy at all. Shi Yao swallowed the food in her mouth. I'm just going to class. Liang Mumu. Then what about you and brother Jia? Chapter 225. Liang Mumu came from a prestigious family, and most of her friends were born into this world with a golden spoon in their mouths. As such, most of her friends were well connected. Even though the bar had just opened, there were still many people who came to support them. The bar was bustling with activity. There were quite a few voluptuous women dressed in revealing clothes dancing around on the dance floor. Most of them recognized Liang Mumu. As the latter dragged Shi Yao deeper into the bar, greetings like darling, long time no see and baby I missed you could be heard non-stop. Liang Mumu led Shi Yao all the way to the largest sofa at the very end of the bar before finally stopping. A moment ago, Liang Mumu and Shi Yao had just put down their bags and taken a seat when a red-haired waiter with a diamond stud earring walked over. When he passed the menu to Liang Mumu, he even gestured with his thumb and middle finger, and with a feminine voice he said, Miss Liang, it's been a long time since I last saw you. I've missed you so much. Hearing that voice, Shi Yao couldn't help but shudder in fear. For a man to speak with a voice even more enchanting and passionate than a woman's. Just what was wrong with this world? While Shi Yao's thoughts were running wild, Liang Mumu turned to the waiter with a smile and said, I missed you too. After which, she pushed the menu over to Shi Yao and said with an amiable tone, Darling Yao, take a look and see what you would like to order. Just like how she usually did when she came out with Liang Mumu. Shi Yao generously ordered some snacks like duck neck and nuts before adding a large fruit platter before returning the menu back to Liang Mumu. Yao, aren't you going to drink anything? Liang Mumu asked as she scanned the menu. Oh. Liang Mumu's reminder made Shi Yao forget that she hadn't ordered anything yet. She walked up to Liang Mumu and took a look at the menu before pointing to a non-alcoholic cocktail. Just like before, I'll have this. You don't want anything else other than this? How about some alcohol? I'm fine. It's not like you don't know that I don't drink. Don't drink too much. We don't have lessons tomorrow anyway, and I've already informed the driver. He'll be coming to pick us up, so you don't have to worry. I'll listen to me. Just a little, alright? Shi Yao lowered her eyelids and nodded lightly. Seeing that Yao Yao had agreed to it, Liang Mumu happily turned to the waitress and ordered, "Ya, I knew that you're the best. You're willing to do anything with me. Let's get a draft beer and a bottle of liquor." Shi Yao, isn't that too much? Liang Mumu, it's fine. You can store it if you can't finish it. It didn't take long for the coquettish waiter to serve the food that Shi Yao and Liang Mumu had ordered. Liang Mumu took the bottle opener and shook her body to the tune of the music as she opened 2 bottles of wine. After which, she passed one of the bottles over to Shi Yao and clinked it against Shi Yao's bottle before tilting her head back and drinking. When Liang Mumu finished half a bottle of wine, she noticed that Shi Yao hadn't touched the bottle in front of her yet, so she leaned on Shi Yao and asked coquettishly, "Yao, why aren't you drinking? Have a taste, this beer is very delicious." Shi Yao shot a glance at Liang Mumu before picking up the wine bottle and taking a sip. Chapter 226. Yao, you should drink beer in big gulps. You're being too reserved, Liang Mumu said as she demonstrated to Shi Yao. She brought the remaining half a bottle of beer to her mouth and gulped it down in a single gulp. After putting down the empty bottle, Liang Mumu encouraged Shi Yao, "Yao, why don't you try imitating me? I'll give it a try." Looking at Liang Mumu's expectant gaze, Shi Yao picked up the bottle once more and brought it to her mouth. This time she was much more generous than before. Instead of taking a small sip, she gulped down a huge mouthful. That's more like it. Liang Mumu opened another bottle of beer. Come Yao, let's continue. Soon Shi Yao had an empty bottle in front of her, and Liang Mumu had 3 empty bottles in front of her. When Shi Yao felt that she had drunk enough, she tried to stop Liang Mumu. "Mumu, we've drunk quite a bit already. That's nothing at all. Let's drink a little more. It's not easy for us to come out to play, so we should enjoy ourselves to the fullest." Liang Mumu opened 6 bottles of beer in a row and placed 3 bottles in front of her and Shi Yao respectively. Now let's continue. Liang Mumu was the first to finish the 3 bottles of beer. When she opened the bottle, she didn't open a bottle of beer. Instead, she switched to a bottle of imported wine. Beer is too boring. I want to drink something else. By the time Liang Mumu had drunk 2 glasses of imported wine, the 3 bottles of beer in front of Shi Yao had already been emptied. Liang Mumu didn't open another bottle of beer for Shi Yao. Instead, she poured half a glass of wine and said, "Come Yao, try this wine. Let me tell you, this wine is very expensive, and it's especially rich." Shi Yao shook her head and said, "Mumu, I've already drunk quite a bit. I can't drink anymore. Look, I've only poured this little for you. You'll be fine even if you drink it. Look at how much I have." Liang Mumu pointed to their glasses and said, "Come Yao, finish this glass of wine. I'm going to dance for a while." Shi Yao hesitated for a moment before raising her glass and downing the wine together with Liang Mumu. After putting down the empty glass, Liang Mumu really went to the dance floor to dance. Wearing a gloved hand, Shi Yao rested her chin on her hand as she stared at Liang Mumu on the dance floor. As Shi Yao stared at it, her eyes began to drift into a trance. Some time later, Shi Yao finally took off her gloves and made a trip to the washroom. By the time she returned, the place where she and Liang Mumu had been standing at was already packed with people. Her footsteps faltered for a moment before Liang Mumu, who had already caught sight of her, beckoned her over. "Yao Yao, come over here." Shi Yao replied with a smile before making her way over to them. When she got closer, Liang Mumu hooked her arm around Shi Yao's arm and introduced her to the crowd. Shi Yao, my best friend. They are also my friends. I met them when I was dancing just now. So we came over to have a chat. This is the eldest son of the Song family. His uncle often appears on TV news. As you know, he has a very powerful background. This is the daughter of the Xia family. She's mixed blood. Her mother's family is very powerful in America. Every time Liang Mumu introduced a person to her, the other party would raise his wine glass to her as a gesture of courtesy. Out of courtesy, Shi Yao could only raise her wine cup and return the toast. Liang Mumu sure had a lot of friends during her dance. By the time Shi Yao had finished half a round of drinks, she could already feel her stomach filling up. You're tuning into the Li Mei Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.